Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Well, it's been a pretty fun week for me. Let me click this and this. There we go. Okay, we're all set up. Yeah, this week I spent a little bit of time on the go-kart. Had a pretty good road trip out to the middle of Texas. Unfortunately, I missed one of the lives that I usually go to on Saturday, which is Top Conquers live on Saturday at 2. Great guy. You should come check him out sometime. Let's see. For the go-kart, I got the motors chosen, and I've got them about halfway mounted. Gonna have a video in the middle of the week and have all sorts of welding, and probably the first video will be putting together the two motors. I chose two Troy-Bilt TB35 ECs for the go-kart, and I'm gonna mount them like this so that they can both feed off of one gas tank, and it should come out pretty good. I'm hoping the gearing makes up for the complete lack of torque. So let's see who we got today. We got DNR. Hey, DNR. He's a real good guy. Unknown. Now, I don't know who Unknown is, but I suppose if he calls himself Unknown, that's probably the intention. He's unknown. Let's see. Got Tim, Grasscutter Palmer, saying hi to Unknown. Scotty saying hi. Everybody saying hi to everybody. Hello, Terry. Terry9. K. Paul, and Crypto Cryptillions. And let's see, who else do we have here? Can't stop walking, but love mowing and cruising. That's a whole big old name there. And I want to say hello to Rob and AGP and K. Paul and everybody else that I might have missed. I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and put the link out a little fast this time. See who wants to jump up. Sometimes everybody does, sometimes nobody does. But you're more than welcome to join me. It gets pretty boring up here by myself. Believe me, making videos all day, you're already talking to yourself way too much. You're looking at the motor and you're looking at the camera and saying, when you get down to it, I'm really just sitting down here talking to myself. Yep, and we got Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
Yeah, bad if you got dead air, Bill.
You're not hearing me?
No, I heard you. I mean, if you're there by yourself and you got not too much to say, it's not good.
Well, and that's true. Yeah, you think about it though. When you're sitting there doing videos, working on motors, what are you doing? You're sitting down in a dark corner talking to yourself.
Yeah.
So hey, K. Paul, how you doing today?
Good. How are you, Bill?
Oh, I'm doing really good. As I mentioned earlier,
Wayne.
I found my weed eater motors for the go-kart, and I've got one of them rebuilt and ready, and the other one I should have everything I need for it for tomorrow. And so with a little bit of luck, by next weekend or so, whoa.
Very interesting timing. I've just been doing special effect makeup on my special effect makeup channel.
Wow.
Just as I finished, I noticed you're going live.
Okay, Scott, you're going to love this. And everybody's going to get a kick out of this. Me and my wife have a disagreement on my hair. And of course, since she sees me asleep, I haven't won this agreement for 20 years.
Crypto is in on it, by the way, and so was Terry.
Scotty, my hair was like yours 20 years ago when I met her, 20 odd years ago. Yeah. And she wanted it long. So my hair has grown long. And she wants it this long. My hair is ridiculously long, at least in my mind. But she goes on trips. She leaves on Sunday morning and then comes back sometime during the week. And that's her normal work schedule. So it occurred to me, I know exactly how to make her cut my hair. I know how to make her cut my hair the way I want to cut. So this morning, after she left, I took this god-awful long hair.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Braided it.
No, it's bright red.
Oh, yeah.
I dyed at the end bright red, and
So it's
only the
red
part
on-
that I wanted to cut off my head, because you can see it's really long.
Yeah.
So now I've got a red tail about that long on the back of my hair. And I said, yeah, that. Well, there you go. You can see it against my hand pretty easily. That's
Yeah.
funny.
You gotta
That
change
is-
your name
it's
to
hilarious.
Buck.
But it's, I've never been a bashful sort of person. I just haven't. I've never met a stranger. I'm the kind of guy that can strike up a conversation on the red light with a girl on the motorcycle next to him.
Me too.
And I said, I told her I was going to do it, and she says, "Yeah, you're going to run around with a red tail in your hair. I can imagine that. I want to see it."
Come on.
There it is.
How many engines are you going to be using?
I've got 2 TD35s that match, so I'm going to make the plate big enough for 3.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to use those 2. And the nice part about using a chainsaw motor is I can start one engine and let the other one be completely turned off.
Yeah.
And the clutch will spin. I'm using the weed eater clutch basically on them, and the clutch will spin on the one that's not running. And so I can see what it'll do with the gearing with one motor, which I think it's going to have a hard time accelerating, but I think I'll get speed. It'll just take forever to get there. And then with 2 motors and gearing, mind you, and that's important, and gearing, I think the RPM of the motor will make up for the gearing. And I'm looking for
Shall we do a live removal?
out of 2 weed eater motors.
So when's this video coming out? Next week?
Well, I'm going to have one putting the motors together probably Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably do a welding one Thursday.
Right.
And of course, you know what happens Friday.
Yeah.
With just a little luck. Now I haven't worked out the accelerator yet. Having multiple accelerators.
Yeah.
I might get lazy and just run a pair of accelerator cords on a hand thing. I see you got the young lady with you, huh? Do you know how I came up with doing this? You know who I asked for advice for? My granddaughter,
She
15
likes
years
red.
old. I said, "Will that work?" And she says, "Sure." I said, "Will it wash out?" She says, "Well, someday." I said, "Okay."
Oh,
And I
so
said-
it's not a Kool-Aid dye. It's not a Kool-Aid dye. It's a regular dye.
No, on her advice, it's a combination of Kool-Aid and marker.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
No, it's not going to come out easily. I've got, and you can see it's a pretty fluorescent red tail, and I'm going to have a
Yeah,
fluorescent red tail, and that's only like a piece of the hair. I can't get it all the way around. I'm going to have a red tail until she cuts it.
as long as when you
So-
go to bed, it doesn't dye the pillowcase, right? Your wife will be okay.
I didn't. I just did it this morning. I did not think about the pillowcase.
Good point, Wayne.
Oh, and I've got nice white, fancy pillowcases too.
Oh boy, you're in trouble.
A gray and
Might
white
be
pattern.
sleeping in the chair tonight.
Yeah. Well, she's off on a trip, so me sleeping on the chair wouldn't be the end of the world, but
Yeah.
I'd prefer not to if I can avoid it.
So when I like to cut my own hair if possible because it saves me the $25 to go to the, barbershop. And my
Smart
wife's
guy.
like, she brings her hand, I can get it there, and she's like this. Her hand is shaking as she's going to my neck, and I'm like, "What are you so worried about?" She's like, "Well, I'm worried what you'll think it looks like." And I'm like, "I don't care what the back of my neck looks like. I don't have to watch it. I
Yeah.
don't have to see it. You do."
Yeah, you tell her. That's what I said. I said, when somebody sees the back of my hair is fire engine red, I'm already walking away from them. I'm done talking to them. I'm right. And if they're
Exactly.
watching me walk away, they've got problems that just aren't mine.
Oh yeah, especially if they're looking lower.
Yeah.
So what
Oh.
we got to look at
Hey,
doing,
hey, I look good in these jeans. I'm telling you.
so what we got to look at doing, Bill, is we got to look at
I'll have to
getting
take you.
pee on the back of your hair.
Oh,
You get her to put
Ouch.
some white
That hurt.
put the letters on there, and you look really cool.
I don't think that when she gets home, my hair's going to be red very long.
no. Especially if those pillowcases get stained.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but I mean, it didn't even occur to me. And you're right. I'm gonna have to go find old flannel pillowcases for the week.
I saved you again, eh?
Yeah, I did not
Yeah,
even think
Wayne.
about that.
And my wife Lori, she cuts Jake and I's hair. She got the buzzing machine, so we go about a half inch, quarter inch, and we just keep getting buzzed.
That's nice and blonde.
This isn't blonde.
I know, I'm messing with you, Wayne.
Platinum.
Platinum. There you go. Platinum. I like it.
Platinum. I do like that. Yes. Yeah. And my beard has gotten pretty platinum.
Yeah.
You know, I've
And
had
I'm
this
only
one little white
42.
stripe. I've had this one little white stripe of hair right here since I was like 25, 28 years old.
Don't
And
pull out.
everybody, people
don't
say,
pull
you know,
out
how do you dye
that.
your hair? Get that one little piece white. That's so cool looking. It's like, yeah, nature did that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't pull one of those out because for every one gray hair you pull out, 20 or 30 grow back.
Now that can't be
true,
true
Wayne.
because then there'd be lots of white-haired people that weren't bald.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
My hair's
So,
already thinning out. This little look I've got here is going to be gone probably in 3 years. It'll be the shiny look, sort of like Mick.
Yeah. Oh, burn. And where is Mick, by the way?
Well, I don't know, but I think he sleeps this time of day.
Oh, no, somebody else.
Hey, Tim,
Yep.
how you doing?
I'm doing good, Bill. You?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Last time I saw you, Tim, you were all froze up on Conquer's Live, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I had problems that night.
Yeah, I tried to
Are
get
you
on his
from-
live yesterday, but we were in like East Bumble, Texas.
Weren't you on there for a minute driving your car or something?
Yeah, and then we
Yeah.
stopped at a restaurant, and
Yeah.
it went blip, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And I had no connection at all. I couldn't even make a phone call. It's like, wait, I'm in a restaurant. There's like 11 people in this city.
Hello there,
You
Tim.
know?
Hello, Scotty.
Speaking of freezing, I just watched on YouTube the coldest
Back to normal
place,
now.
Washington. The top of Mount Washington at the weather station. It's minus 106 degrees Fahrenheit wind chill right now.
Jeez.
What's the wind?
90 miles per hour right now.
Yeah, it's pretty cold up there.
And he figures the guy that's up there, he's got another 5
Nice.
days, and he figures that they're going to hit the all-time record low of minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
think it's recorded the last time that hit
Wow.
most of that was like 1825, I think he said.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cold. I've been up there once with my grandpa.
Wow.
Scotty's
Yeah, I've got-
froze again.
I've got to find somebody that's not me to be a moderator.
No, look,
Yeah,
we're all
right.
right.
I'm on a phone, otherwise I'd offer, but I have to get off of here to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Not on the phone. Everybody
I
tells
haven't
me
got
not on
a
the
clue.
phone.
I haven't got a clue what you do.
Well, no, a moderator's basic job is to, you know, when somebody puts up one of those hotmonkeylove.com things,
Yeah.
Delete it.
Yeah.
a moderator can click on the three dots and delete it. Uh-oh. Tim, are you getting us in trouble?
No, that was my phone going off.
Just checking.
So-
The very first stream I did got redlined by YouTube because of background music on somebody.
Oh, bloody
Ah,
hell.
Well, I watched Mr. Tecumseh the one time. I haven't seen him on for a while. And he did a video where he was in his truck doing some driving and he had the radio playing. And I think he lost like 2 or 3 of his videos. He didn't realize that you can't have that radio going when you're doing a video.
yeah.
No.
Hey, you know, I have Alexa cancel everywhere in the house to the point where I have to cancel it if I say that word anywhere.
Yeah.
And I keep headphones on so nobody else can like orders laundry soap for me, you know. Yeah, have YouTube fun on people. But yeah, I've got it everywhere. And when I'm working on engines, I'm usually playing
Yeah.
something along the lines of Black Sabbath or Def Leppard
Yeah.
or something.
Ozzy.
Loud. Yeah, Ozzy,
Yeah.
loud.
Nice.
And then when I'm doing a video, it's always Alexa stop, and then I hit my little clicker to turn the camera on.
Yeah.
Okay, you're killing us here, Tim. You're
2
killing us.
minutes.
Dying
2
over
minutes.
here.
2 minutes.
So where's Tim from? Is he the UK?
Yeah, I think he's from Scotland.
Scotland. Okay.
Scotland, yeah.
So let's go around. Wayne, what you been up to this week?
I've been doing a science experiment. I see all these videos on YouTube of people using Super Clean to clean their equipment, degrease. So I
Yeah.
figured I'd go to Canadian Tire, buy a jug of Super Clean. I grabbed it, and normally we buy, like for the company, we'll wait till there's a sale on, and I'm walking through and it's on sale. So I bought it. I don't know how many liters, but the jug of Super Clean. I bring it home, and I never realized it had a corrosive label on it. I'm not sure whether in the U.S. they have the same label on, but the one in Canada has a corrosive sticker on it. So I figured Jake and I have been using Spray 9 by Permatex and another product that they have called Grease Off, GREZ-OFF.
Okay.
Now, Grease Off says it's safe for all ferrous and non-ferrous materials, but it's got a label that says it's an irritant. Spray 9 has a label on it that says it's an irritant, and it doesn't say that it's safe for all materials. And then when I looked at the Super Clean, basically it says don't use it on aluminum, or painted surfaces. So I figured I'd take an aluminum carburetor bowl. I've got a bunch of scrap carbs. I keep the parts. I took 3 carb bowls, 3 jars. I cut a piece of hose. I spray painted some black paint on the carb bowls. I put a dab of grease on the carb bowl, and I went half filled with Super Clean, half filled with, half of the height of the carburetor.
Yeah.
On each jar, and I labeled them, and I put the date and the time. Within, I don't know, it was likely within a short period of time, you could see some bubbling, like some foaming happening on the Super Clean.
I believe
I
that.
said, wow, this thing's already reacting with the aluminum. Now, this Tuesday coming up, it's going to be 2 weeks. I'm not sure I'm going to have a carb bowl in that Super Clean.
Really?
You should see the powdered aluminum at the bottom of the jar.
Really?
The paint was completely gone off of the carburetor in the first 3 hours. It completely disappeared with the Super Clean. The Spray 9 it was still there, but you could tell that there might be a little bit of reaction between the paint, but hard to tell.
Well, I know you're supposed to spray it on and then give it a minute and hose it off.
Yeah, it's it. Now you got to give them credit. They say the judge says do not leave on for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I think it means like you better get it off of there.
5 minutes is a long period of time. Yeah.
If it's on a vehicle and you got anything that's got aluminum, I wouldn't even spray it on it because it's on edge.
You know, I've been using Super Clean specifically. You know, way back when the channel was that big and I had 9 subscribers, Super Clean says, here, try it out. And I said, okay. You know, I had like 9 subscribers. The fact I was going to get anything from anybody was wonderful.
Yeah, it looks like really corrosive. So anyways.
I tell you what, I've got a 2010 Town and Country that I got brand new. And what I've learned in the dozen odd years of owning that van is it eats brakes. It just eats brake pads like there's no tomorrow, and there's no brake pad you can put. I've tried every brake pad you can imagine.
Yeah.
But brakes are good for 20,000 miles tops.
Right.
You know, it just eats brake pads.
Yeah.
And of course that means the wheels turn black.
Yeah.
And I actually, when they gave me the free Super Clean, you know what I did is I have a video on it even. I took my 3,500 PSI pressure washer on one side and used a Super Clean on the other and a garden hose with no end on it.
Yeah.
The Super Clean, I sprayed the Super Clean on. I went around and pressure cleaned. Then I came back and hosed it off with the garden hose, and the Super Clean one looked better.
Well, yeah, it'll clean it off.
It was impressive.
But did it do any etching to the aluminum? Were they aluminum rims?
Well, it was only on there for maybe 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. So anyways, I got this grease off, and it's absolutely like it's dissolving the grease, but it's hasn't done anything to the aluminum. So I got in touch with the company to find out if I can use it in the ultrasonic cleaner, because it is a what do you call it? Like for dip tanks, it's a parts cleaner for dip tanks. But it didn't say anything about using it in an ultrasonic cleaner. And then I asked what I could dilute it to, and they said 1:1. And I'm going to try it. They've never used it in an ultrasonic cleaner. I'm supposed to get back to them and tell them how it works. So, anyways, that's my experiment.
That's your week, huh?
And
Yeah.
Jake will likely video this part of us pulling out the carb bowls, and
Yeah.
then we'll get a piece of coffee filter and we'll pour in whatever's inside the slurry that's at the bottom. I don't even know how much stuff will pour out. There's about a 1/4 inch of aluminum powder in the bottom of that.
Did you do videos when you started?
No, I can easily replicate it just by pouring it in and showing what happens.
You should remanufacture the beginning
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then show it and explain that this is a recreation of the beginning. But this is what I did, and this is where it sits now after.
But then I'd like to have something. I got to get some knowledge on whether the other stuff will work in the ultrasonic cleaner too, and how it works.
You know what I use in my ultrasonic that works just gangbusters?
Zep,
Pine Sol.
Pine Sol. See, I use Zep.
Doesn't change the colors of the carburetor, and they come out. They look sterilized. They look. I mean, it's when I grab a brand new carburetor. Half the time, it's when I cleaned in the ultrasonic. You know.
Yeah. No, I haven't had any failures out of the ultrasonic cleaner other than one carb that had spider webs in it, and couldn't get that thing to run at all.
Yeah, I
That's
had
that
one.
soap blower.
You know what I think they call them mud daubers in Georgia,
Yeah.
with these bumblebees or whatever they are,
Yeah, the wasps.
the wasps. Yeah. I had one carburetor I opened up, had a nest inside the carburetor, and I looked at it, and
Excuse me,
And
sorry.
I decided not to put it in the ultrasonic. I said, you know something, for $18 I'll buy a new carb body. You know.
Yeah, right.
Well, the carb would have dissolved that and got rid of it.
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah, but then it would mess up my ultrasonic. It would make a mess of it, and I don't want. I don't mind the grease.
Yeah.
I don't want
No.
biological things.
But
in
I
it.
let everything settle out, and then I'll just pour off, let's say, 3/4 of the fluid, and then I dispose of the rest. Like the products we use are all biodegradable, so they're safe to pour on the lawn, and it hasn't killed the grass where I throw it out. So,
Well, you know what I like about Pine Sols? It's not flammable.
yeah,
Carb cleaner will burn your shop down.
Oh God.
eat
Yeah.
away at all your rubber gaskets and your
Yeah.
fuel lines.
Yeah, when I do a carburetor, I won't even take the, the little needle gasket, little round gasket inside there. I don't even take it out. Just leave it there. I'll put it back on, see if it leaks. If it doesn't leak, it's still good. You know.
We got a machine in the last week. The guy said it wouldn't run when we took the carburetor out. As we took the carb bowl off, it was like rubber slime. Like it was like almost flowing. That was the ball gasket. Just as like it was almost like liquid rubber.
Yeah.
And then the needle valve had a Viton tip on it, and it was seized into the jet. And as we were pulling that out, a great big blob string was coming out, and the whole needle, like everything was just plugged. It had somebody had used something that totally melted all the rubber.
Well, that's my concern with carb cleaner. Is all I can think is, what am I doing to my little gaskets in there?
Yeah, I thought somebody might have sprayed this thing with brake cleaner or something, because brake cleaner will eat rubber pretty quick.
Oh, yeah, I look down. It's like, oh, there's Tim. Wait, there's Tim right there.
Yeah.
I've got a gentleman here asking. Let me move that. Adam asking about Vapor Rust, which I've heard really good things about it, but I haven't
It
played
is
with
good.
it myself.
It's good.
Excellent. Likely the best
Adam,
product for cleaning rust out of a steel tank.
Mix used it as well.
Yeah.
Mix used the Vapor Rust as well.
And
Yeah.
you can
I've
reuse-
had good results about using that Vapor Rust.
Yeah.
It works good.
and it's reusable, right, Tim?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's reusable.
Now,
It's
what would
cheap.
happen if you put put it in there and did what Wayne's doing and left it there for a week and a half.
I don't think it would do anything. I
You think the
it just-
evaporust would take the
it
rust
just-
out and
It'll
stop?
just it'll clean it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it'll eat away. It's not going to eat away at the metal.
It's like I use vinegar inside gas tanks,
Yeah.
inside metal, even plastic tanks, because it'll take away the fuel residue that gets left if the tank is dry for a long time. And I tell people, it's like vinegar is wonderful stuff inside a metal gas tank. It'll take all that rust out, but don't leave it there because it'll take the tank out eventually.
Yeah. Now, what percentage
Tim.
of vinegar do you use, Bill?
I just use vinegar.
Just regular 6%
Straight vinegar.
in the fridge?
Yeah.
well-
The pickling vinegar, and then there's one that's got a higher concentration of acid.
Yeah, I have the 12.
I use
Well,
white
the thing
distilled.
is,
Yeah.
just the regular gallon like you would use in your kitchen.
That $1.99 gallon from the grocery store.
So that's 6%. I have 6, 12, and 18%. I use it for cleaning and everything else. So I was just curious.
Knowing what 6% does, I would be afraid that 12% or 18%, I wouldn't be able to get it out fast enough.
Well, the whole point of it is I use it, I dilute it, and you pour it in a spray bottle, and then you're filling it up with distilled water, and you use it as a cleaner. But I'm into medical cleaning, so.
Tim, do you know if Evaporust sells a sealer too? A tank
I
sealer?
don't.
I know there's some tank sealers out there that are really good. Once you clean them and you wash them out, then you put a sealer on the inside, swish it around, and it's supposed to work. But I forget who made that.
Right.
Might be
I've got
Eastwood.
some, it's like Seals It with a Z or something odd like that.
Yeah.
I bought some of that yesterday for fuel lines going into a plastic tank for a tank I couldn't replace.
Yeah.
I just couldn't buy one. And I tried it out and I said, I've got zero faith in that stuff. And I don't like the putty stuff because 2 reasons. It looks Mickey Mouse, it looks god awful. And you really can't get it where you want it. You can't cram the putty where you want it.
Yeah.
And that Seals It stuff, just for fun yesterday, I made a little drop of it and let it get hard on the counter and dropped that in a little glass cup full of gas after it hardened and left it there for a few hours and then took a screwdriver and mashed it. And it was hard.
Oh,
It didn't mash at all. And I said, well, that's kind of good news. I got to remember that the particular piece of equipment is a throwaway because it's a hedge trimmer and I hate hedge trimmers. I got no issue throwing them away. Yeah, I never buy them. I take them as part of a different deal. This one in particular, the guy offered me the ends for weed eaters.
yeah.
The string feeder ends for $5 each, as many as I wanted.
Oh, good deal.
Complete ends, and they were even loaded with string.
Jeez.
And he says, and what do you give me? He says, but you got to buy this too. And I said, okay, I'll give you $5 for that and give you a few of those ends. I think I gave him $10 for it, and I ended up throwing it away. But I figured those ends are saving me $12 each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as many weed eaters as I do, I always need ends.
I got a box here. We rarely use them. But every now and then somebody comes in and wants to change a head on it. Because Napa, it was an automotive parts store. They used to sell it before it was Napa. They used to have small engine parts here. So Jake and I went down and paid them $1,000 for their complete stock. And I forget how many lawnmower blades we got of it. Great big totes. Just the totes alone, I think, were worth about $400 value on the totes that we got that everything was in. So I've got a lot of stock here of old stuff you can't get your hands on. And every now and then when we need it, it's worth a fortune when you can't get it.
Oh, my other project that you ever do one of those projects that you're doing more for yourself than everybody else, but somebody will love a video of it?
Just finished one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I've got a riding lawnmower, of course. Now I got a pretty big property, so I need a rider. Just too old to push. But I had a little trailer that I use for fertilizer. A little trailer with a little wheel at the bottom.
Yeah.
Now, the problem you've got with that when you're on a riding lawnmower is the little lever to turn it on is behind you. So what I did is I worked out a cable system, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and parts from this and parts from that. And I worked out a cable system so I can go like this to turn it on and off.
Right.
Yeah.
And you did a video on it?
I've got a video on it. Yeah, I've got to edit it down because there's a whole lot of cursing. You know, I had a few unique statements that I called that little lever thing before I was done.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Well, it was when you're, it's sort of like putting the two engines on the go-kart. When you're doing something that just simply isn't done, you have to be creative on the way.
Yeah.
And I was calling it creative names before I was done.
We found
Yeah.
here that a lot of the aggravation and vulgarity in the shop disappears when we get that new tool that eliminates that part.
Yeah.
I was going to try to go out to my shop, but I don't have any internet out there.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So, Paul, what have you been doing this week?
Surviving. 3 kids.
Well,
No, I got a couple neighbors who want me to work on their mowers, and obviously they put them away full, so it's just a simple carb clean. Needle and seat,
people like that.
pretty simple.
With 3 kids and the price and the cost of food today, it's an inflation. It's tough out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and
I saw your dog. He came like in the corner of the screen before.
Yeah,
I made sure that this stream was listed as unlimited.
yeah. Well, you're on Bluetooth, so they can't hear anything we say.
Okay. Well, just the flash of a kid on the screen.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm not listed
Sorry
for
about
kids only or for adults
Yeah.
only. And that's what's important, you know?
Okay. All right.
See, I didn't know
Yeah, and
that.
it's just she was about to take a nap. She's 2 years old. She was about to take a nap, but it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, my channel's not listed for adults only. And if you,
Yeah.
if you watch every video that I've ever done, you'll never hear one curse word in it.
I appreciate that.
And I keep my pants on almost every one of them.
Almost.
Well, I wear
I'm
shorts. I don't know where you guys are going, but I wear shorts on some of them.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you're wearing a button-up shirt and a tie, and you got shorts on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like your typical Zoom meeting guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's got a Superman underwear on and a button-up shirt and a tie.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put it on mute and go find out what just happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Tim, what have you been doing this week?
This week I've done some more. I'm working on a video of a mower that I stripped down last year. I've been tidying my shed most of the week and finally getting around to getting it sorted. And then I've got a few videos coming up. I've got to change a tank on it. I've got to change a fuel tank on the lawnmower because it's a plastic tank and the tanks where the lugs are for the bolts to go through, they've all broken loose. But I've got a spare tank there to put on.
Yeah, that's good.
Um,
Yeah, it's
just
yeah,
trying to
believe
get
me,
ready
trying
for
to
the
make
grass
weed
cutting
eater-
season.
trying to make the weed eater motors fit where they don't want to go.
Yeah,
Now, I'm welding literally bicycle sprockets to the weed eater clutches
bloody hell.
to get them to go. You say, Wayne?
Yeah, you're just getting the right gearing put in place, right?
Well, yes, I've still got that 2.3 kickdown gear, the little jack gear.
Yeah.
And that was the speed limiter before. But I did take a couple days ago, and I really should have made a video. I should go make a video of it. Because, in the first video of the go-kart, I got it going 25 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And that was with the governor set, full blast, as tight as the governor would go.
Yeah.
Oh, I turned the governor all the way out and got back on it. Yeah, it's faster than I want to go now. There was a last to the top. So I'm one house away from the top. And I realized it's got plenty of torque. So the speed's the same going up or down the hill.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the way down, I let off and thought, what this needs is more brakes.
Yeah.
I've only got brakes on one tire right now.
Maybe you need airbags.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, there's not enough room for my ex-wife on it. And for the people who weren't here in the beginning, I had a quick discussion when I did the intro about my wife not liking my hair getting cut short and me not liking my hair being as long as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she went on a trip today. So we did this to try to get her to cut my hair. My hair's now bright. I've got a bright red tail on my hair.
Tail. Yeah.
And Michael's actually bringing up a good point. I did kind of a video kind of sort of on that. But yeah, I could definitely do one on the whole buying process. Now, the buying process when you buy one of these is just as complicated as fixing them and selling them. Because every single person that's selling you something is selling you $100 broken weed eater.
Yeah.
It's $100 in his mind. And you've got $12 in your pocket and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to have enough money left for lunch when I buy this one.
Yep.
Because the truth of it is I don't think I've ever paid more than $25 for a weed eater.
Uh-huh.
And that was a steal.
Here's a story. I was going through Facebook Marketplace.
Sorry about that, Simone.
Right, don't worry.
I was going through.
You see I'm copycatting you with the red hair?
Actually, I'm going to color it soon.
I think mine's going to get cut when my wife gets back.
Ah,
The idea is I mean, it's that much red hair hanging out the back because my hair's longer than you think. It goes like a third of the way down my back now. And
wow. Mine used to be like that. Mine used to be like it would reach my backside at one point.
Tim, what's that story?
I was
Yeah,
going through Facebook Marketplace last year, not last year, a year before, and there was a guy selling two Ryobi strimmer heads
Hey guys.
for £50 for the 50 pounds for the two. And I messaged him and I said to him, "Are these still for available?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said to him, "I'll give you £30 for the two of them." To cut a long story short, he said no. He still wanted the full £50.
But
so
yeah,
I'm like,
keep in mind that the way I look at everything in life is for 50 or 60 years, Babe Ruth was famous as the greatest home run hitter in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
What people don't mention is for 50 or 60 years, Babe Ruth was famous for having the most strikeouts in the history of baseball. You're gonna, you gotta swing the bat, and if you miss, you miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just like when I bought that hedge trimmer. What he had that I wanted was 2 end pieces for straight shafts.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the end pieces. But those end pieces are golden for me because I do a lot of weed eaters. And he had the trimmer heads. We wanted $5 each for those. I wanted. I bought that hedge trimmer, played with it for half an hour, and did a couple of experiments on it and threw it away.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said, okay, that's $10 out the window, but it's okay,
Well, what you need if you want to make a lot of money on flipping or starting a small engine repair business, when we started 9 years ago, basically when we didn't have any, people didn't know you were doing small engine repair. So we were buying equipment, fixing it up and reselling it.
Flipping
and we
it.
found a couple of scrappers, guys that they might have 20 or 30 lawnmowers in the back of their truck and they're taking them to the scrapyard. So we set up a good rapport with them and basically bought anything that they had, no matter what the condition was. We would take the engine, put it on a good deck, and we turned 2 into 1.
Yeah.
It got to the point that we were selling like 10 lawnmowers a day, fully serviced, making good money on them.
Wow.
And then we started to advertise that we had lawnmowers and we would take trade-ins. So people would bring a broken down lawnmower and they'd say, "What's this going to cost us to fix?" Well, we would tell them 2 things. One, it's not worth the money you're going to pay us to fix it. So here's one that we've got that we would sell you that's like brand new condition that's going to cost you exactly what yours would cost to fix. Take a look at the 2. And they'd say, well, what do you want my machine? I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $20 off for it because the engine, it looks like it'll be good, and I got a deck. So he's happy. He's got $20 off, and we're selling mowers like crazy. It got to the point now where we tell the scrapper we only want good stuff. Anything you got with rotten decks and everything, we don't want to touch. And this is the one where the guy calls up and he said, I got 5 mowers. Do you want them? I said, sure. I says, they're good mowers? He says, yeah, they're top shape. I go down there for $60, and that's where we picked up the MTD stainless steel deck lawnmower that sells used for $300.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing it was missing was a hubcap, and MTD still sells it, so we ordered it. So it's all original with its original bag and everything.
Yeah, my biggest win ever, the best profit I ever made on a mower was a new Honda, with the little thumb levers and all that. I found one that was obviously a dealer item. It was a dealership item. It had never actually been used, but it had no wheels on it. The motor had never been turned over. It had no wheels on it, and it was sitting in the dirt in a girl's backyard.
Oh, wow.
I bought her weed eaters for $10 each. She had 3 of them. None of them started, but I gave her $10 each for the 3 of them, and I gave her $5 for that Honda. It turned out that when they were loading it up, they bashed the valve cover in, and it had the valves pinned open. I replaced the valve cover and got $300 for it in one day.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, so I basically spent, what did I spend? $13 on a valve cover.
That's an impressive turnaround.
And it was, well, what I loved was the same thing. Oh, I got a text. You ever have one of those deals where you just can't help but smile?
Yeah, I've seen that. Does anybody know much about spark plugs?
I know all sorts of stuff. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll read it to you.
Okay.
Bill doesn't know anything about spark plugs.
Yeah, I don't know anything about spark plugs. I know. Yeah, spark plugs are a thing for me.
Okay.
This gentleman says, your leaf blower, my Steel 430 that I listed for $200. He says, is it available tomorrow? On Thursday? I said, yes. I said, I'll plan for just about any time. And then on Saturday, about 2 hours after I sold it, he texted me again and says, $100. Can I come and get it?
Wow.
And my reply was, the Steel ? And he says, yes. I said, well, I sold it yesterday for $200. And I said, trying to get a deal is one thing.
Yeah.
But trying to get a top of the line, I mean, this thing, I can blow cars across a parking lot with this thing.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll give you $100, period. 2 days after he originally contacted me.
That's another thing I've noticed on Facebook Marketplace. People say people want ridiculous money for second-hand mowers that they've paid. They want top money for what they want. The sort of money back for what they paid for it brand new.
Yeah.
The most I've ever paid for a mower is $40, and if it's actually out there now, it's a great big commercial mower. With the odd little swivel front wheels and all that. But it's a commercial I think it's a Husqvarna. But it's a commercial one with an Intech motor on it. Yeah. And I think I paid $40 for it, and it broke my heart to pay $40 for it.
That was like my Victor. I paid £45 for it, and it didn't. The guy told me it didn't have spark. And when I got it home, started taking it apart and figured out a few things, and I did get it running for about 10 seconds. Cut a piece of grass, and then it just burnt itself out. So hopefully I can get it working again.
Did you go through the carb?
Yeah, I took it apart and cleaned it. It was full of crap in the float bowl, or in the bowl, should I say? There's no float in there, is there?
Yeah. That's how I say floral wire. Floral wire is the best tool I own.
Yeah.
It's it's floral wire. It's the stuff they used to make bouquets and things. Where I run it through the jets and the bolt on the bottom of the carb, and it seems to always work.
Well, I've still yet to put it fully back together again. So hopefully this spring I'll get it. I will get it sorted out. I will get it
Yeah.
put back together again.
So what do you need to know about spark plugs?
Well, my classic 1972 Ford has NGKs in it at the moment, and I had a bit of a thing today. I went up to go and work on the car. If anyone doesn't know, I've got a classic car.
Yeah.
Now, I found that the rocker cover was leaking. As I was adjusting the fuel mixture, not the tick over, the fuel mixture, bringing the revs down, because I found it was over burning too much fuel and too many fumes were coming out the back end. So I thought if I turn down the tick over, it will help. So as I was doing that, I looked down and I could see bubbles coming out of piston 4 with the spark plug screwed in. So that was immediately a red flag.
Bubbles?
So it's a 1.6 litre Pinto engine. So I thought, I'm going to take the spark plugs out and have a look. So the spark plugs I took out are NGK AP6FS. I've got a picture of, oh, there we go. That's the spark plug there. But I need to get a champion version of that. So,
But
yeah.
How tight were they when you took them out?
Not very, apart from cylinder 1. Cylinder 1 was really tight, but these spark plugs do not have a crush washer. They're tapered so that when you tighten them,
Yep.
they seat in. But
Yeah.
to me, that's really weird. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
That's very 1974 though. That's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
No
realize
crush
back
washer at
then
all.
I didn't realize that. But at the same time, I'm looking at the side of the block and it's filthy. It's really caked. So at some point I need to get a jet wash on the side of the engine and just clean it down. But at least I know now where the engine oil's been going and why it's burning quite so much.
Well, it shouldn't be coming through the cylinder regardless, because then your rings are shot.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't think they are, because it's not throwing
but
blue
now
smoke out the back.
it might not be rings though. It could be, you can have a valve seat go. And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put the oil when she's sitting still.
Yeah,
And the valve seals, the little valve seat up top,
yeah,
pain in the ass to replace. But I had a Corvette, I guess. This was 25 years ago. I'm gonna guess around 87. It was relatively new then, but it smoked when it started when I bought it. But Corvette motors get hot because they make the cars as low as possible and as short as possible.
yeah.
And so the engine compartment's kind of small. So the motor gets hot and it's a big engine. And it ruins valve seats.
Yeah.
And I probably spent 4 hours doing it. And I only dropped one valve inside a cylinder.
But I might invest in some. Well, I'm going to get some valve stem seals. That's one thing I'm going to do.
Does
And
Champion make the plug? Does Champion make a replacement plug to replace that NGK? Did you check?
I haven't had a chance to do it yet. I've got to. Obviously, it was Sunday. I didn't get a chance to go to the car shop. But there is a place near me. But I want to get the equivalent of a Champion. But I don't know what the equivalent is, and I'm sure somebody knows.
Yeah, a little advice when you do the valve seals. Rotate the motor by hand, put a big
Oh,
bar
yeah,
on the front and look inside each piston and get the piston all the way up for the one you're replacing.
Yes.
And the valves won't fall in so far. They won't fall into the point where you can't reach them.
Yeah.
They won't fall all the way in the cylinder.
I've seen a few tricks with that where like people have filled up the cylinder space with rope or something,
I do that. I actually keep one piece of pull cord.
Yeah.
It's all dirty and everything because every time I'm like if you want to take a clutch off a weed eater, you just fill up the cylinder with it and then spin the clutch with a big wrench. And it's like, I need a big tool. Yeah, I need a big wrench. That's all I need,
Yeah. But the reason why I wanted to do all these checks is because I'm going to this car show next month. So yeah, it's just under 4 weeks' time. So the gasket, Michael. It's got a cork gasket, and it just wasn't tightened down properly. And I think that's where the oil was going. The oil was coming out of the engine, due to pressure running down the side of the engine and pulling where the spark plugs go.
Yeah,
Ooh.
just like lawnmowers with overhead valve covers.
Oh, Adam, you are a star. Keep
Yeah,
that up
I
there.
had to put that one up. I said,
I'm
whoa.
going to take a screen. I'm going to take a picture of that. I need that info.
Hey, wait, everybody smile.
Yay!
She's taking pictures of the screen. Everybody smile.
Yeah. Okay, so champion 409, F7Y, F7YC, F9Y, 9YC, champion OE054.
Okay,
So
none
all
of
of
these are R
those-
plugs. None of these are R plugs. I must remember, I'm a spark plug fanatic. Make sure
Yeah.
your car doesn't have an R plug in it.
None of these will fit in a mower.
No. You can use non-resistor plugs in some mowers, and
Good.
weed eaters more often than not they're not resistor.
So I can use any of those spark plugs. Wow, cool. See, it's always worth asking people. Wow, that's fantastic.
Suggestion: go with the 7, not the 9.
Oh, the F7Y or the F7YC.
Yes.
Okay, which
Okay.
one's hotter? With Champion, it's
Well, it's a 7 versus 9 in heat range.
which one's the
Oh,
hotter of the two?
Okay.
Yeah,
People
that's what
tend
that
to
stands for, is the
overtype
heat range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael.
I'm
I
just
did-
wondering, with Briggs, is the 7 hotter than the 9 or the 9 hotter than the 7? I know with NGK, the lower you go, the hotter it gets, and I think
Well,
Champion
no,
reverse.
for everybody who does it correctly, not named NGK, or maybe NGK too, but theoretically, the lower number, the colder plug.
On
Oh,
NGK,
okay.
it is. No, on NGK, I think the 5 is hotter than a 6 or a 7.
Well, then they're going left-handed for the rest of them,
yeah, they go
Yeah,
down.
maybe.
because the standard, if you want to call it a standard, the accepted standard is that a 9 is one hot ass plug.
Yes.
Now, if you're burning oil, that's a great plug to have because it'll keep your cylinder clean.
That's true. The spark plug in my little 125 is an HS8. I think it's HS8. So that's hotter than this.
Yeah, I run 7s in the vet.
Yeah.
I run 6s or 7s, normally 7s in weed eaters, and I try to put 6s in mowers, just because they seem happier that way.
Right.
And
I will
remember,
go-
the other numbers, the rest of the number, has to do with the length of the electrode, and the length of and this is the least important part, the length of the part that the plug wire goes into.
Did I? Oh yeah, Sparky. Hello, Sparky. I thought somebody said that.
Hi, Duncan Malone with Rentals.
I am going to have a look on Evil Day, see how much these spark plugs are.
Now you got to watch. I heard that on Amazon that there have been counterfeit plugs being sold at times.
Oh yeah, I
Really?
heard about that. Yeah.
Counterfeit spark
But
plugs.
I years ago I was looking for spark plugs for my Kawasaki, and I bought they were, I can't remember what brand they were, but they were called Splitfire. So you had 4 electrodes. Is that right? 4
Yeah.
electrodes,
And
or
those are so overrated. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is.
yeah. But I mean, it worked, but I didn't feel any different.
No.
Yeah. Now think about what's actually happening in there. Having the little double fork, all that gives you is more places for it to be gapped differently.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're just the
And you can't
bazillionth
gap
of a
it, though.
nothing different, if you have any twist in it at all, if the gaps are any different, it's going to gap. It's always going to gap across one of those 4 forks. One.
Yeah.
Count them. One.
Yeah.
It's going to gap across one of them, and it's going to gap across that same one every time. It just completely ruins, because it's just the slight different angle or the airflow even through it. The first place that the airflow throws through would have the most resistance. The last
Yeah.
place it goes through would have the least resistance because the turbulence created by the first part.
Yep.
So the multi-winged spark plugs, you'll have people that'll sit and say, no, that's crazy. They'll swear by them. But if you go to the racetrack, you'll see exactly 0 dragsters running them.
Correct.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I found the spark plugs. Yeah, they're tapered as well, but they're not quite so deep by the look of it as the NGK.
Yeah, that's the rest of the letters on the plug is how the FJY blah blah blah. That's how
Yeah,
deep
this is-
how deep each end is because you want the electrode to be the correct length, but the electrode
yeah.
length the electrode length is what affects the heat range.
Yeah, this is F7Ys. One spark plug for £5. Only need 4. That's pretty good, to be honest with you.
I remember being a kid and being annoyed that I had to pay like $6 for 8 spark plugs.
Oh, one moment. Gotta be back.
Getting old. I remember back in the day.
One moment.
Well, I know we ran out of NGK plugs. I forget. I think it was the BPR 6ESs. And Jake ran out to a local shop and they charged us $10 a plug.
I know. For a
And
spark
we
plug.
get them, we sell them to our customers for $6.
Now, people have opinions on Champion versus NGK versus so on and so forth, auto lights and all that whatnot.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with personal experience.
No.
And I love hearing, how other people have gotten along with the plugs they bought because that, it gives you insight.
Well, Jake did a video on spark plugs, and I think in his video it was strictly about the gapping. And NGK has the most consistent gap of all the plugs that we've ever bought. When, like I'm saying, anybody that goes shopping, they're never gapped. Like they think they get in the gap plug, forget it. You're not getting one. Your champions are going to come gapped at anywhere from 45 to 55. We've even seen them at 60,000s. Now,
I think we talked about that on Wednesday.
yeah, and
Just for fun, gap it at 10 and see if it
Yep.
starts, and then gap it at 60.
oh,
and
it'll
it'll
start.
still start.
Yeah,
Yep.
it'll still start. Steve's Small Engine Salute just did a video on that. Doesn't
Did he?
matter what you got a gap, then it'll still run.
I
But
don't think I saw that one.
yeah, he
Yeah,
just
I mean-
did one. I think I don't know if it was one of his questions that he was answering or a video before he started his 30 days of questions.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
the
I've
30-day
caught most
questions,
of
I
the
think.
30 days, but I haven't caught all of them.
But
Yeah,
I
me
think
neither.
this one was just before he gapped, and I think he was running a leaf blower, and he ran it at 10, and he ran it at like 65 or 75 or 80 or something like that, and it still ran.
Huh. But now I would expect that
Yeah.
just because I'm a spark plug fanatic and I know that gap, the bigger gap makes your coil run a little bit hotter. The smaller
said-
gap makes your combustion a little bit slower
We said
because
everything.
it takes it. But we're talking about such a tiny little amount of time.
Yeah.
And I always say spark plugs never make an engine not start unless that plug is completely wet.
Yeah,
If you get that little drop of liquid on it,
yeah, it won't.
it's flooded and it's not going to start.
But we
Now,
set
Bill,
everything here to exactly what the OEM spec calls for on the like. If that engine calls for it to be set at 30, it's set at 30. If it calls for it to be set at 25 or 20, that's what it's set at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, because the engineers that design that engine, they know where that engine's going to run most efficiently for the gap. And there's no doubt in my mind that if you gap it at 60, it'll still run, but it won't run as well as it will at 25 or 30 or whatever the manufacturer recommends.
Now,
It
the
won't run
Greasy
as
Shop
long either.
Ragna's got a good comment. She should check that engine was supposed to come with that plug in it.
Yes, you want to. That's why I asked her. I said check it and make sure she isn't running R plugs.
Yeah.
Because if you're running, it's Volkswagens. Just going completely left. Volkswagens have a block resistor on the firewall. They all do. Fords also have a block resistor on the firewall. Chevys do not. Chevys, you run a resistor plug every time. The Ford and the Volkswagen, a resistor plug will barely start the engine because it's already got the resistor built into the ignition. And if you take that resistor out, it won't start. It'll burn the coil. It'll start, but it'll burn the coil up in a couple hours.
Now, Bill, I got a question for you. So, the opening of the spark plug.
The gap.
I aimed that opening, that gap. I aimed that towards the intake valve. Now, this comes from 1970s, 80s, 90s. My uncles were race car drivers,
Yes.
and they always aimed the opening of that spark plug towards the intake valve, and it's like milliseconds of difference.
You
but
know,
I mean, you're atomizing, so it's atomized, so it really shouldn't matter at all anyway.
yeah, but keep
But-
in mind that when that spark plug fires, that valve has been closed for half a cycle of the engine.
That's true.
And yeah, I've had a couple of race cars along the way, and I've heard that, and I've heard people aim it, and it's like, but wait a minute now, there's bound to be an optimal way to go. My personal optimal way to go is towards the open side, because most plugs go in at an angle, and if
Yeah.
you look at the head inside, it'll have a little bit of a lip around the spark plug, kind of like this,
Yeah.
and the spark plug sticks through the lip. So I try to
Yep.
aim it so that the plug is not this way, but this way, away from the little valley that it lives in, shall we say. Do I think
Yeah.
it makes a difference? In my head it does.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
when I-
for pointing it towards the valve, what that'll do is give you better backfire if the valve sticks.
yeah, that's true.
You know?
Well, I mean, I used to race Honda Civics, like an '88 Honda Civic.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
And I used to aim the opening towards the intake valve, and they ran great, but they would foul. So I ended up running the Bosch Quad 4s, which we talked about earlier, actually.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't have to worry about a thing with the Quad 4, because once one fouled, then it would start going to the next least resistance. So it always had an electrode to go to. So I just ran those because I could get about 11,000 miles of beating it to death, and I just had another electrode to go to once it fouled.
Were you running in-head injectors?
Well, not direct injection, but yeah. I mean,
Well,
into
it's-
the cylinder.
You know, you've got like three kinds of injection. You've got the infamous crossfire injection, which gets straight down the center, and that's the Chevy did it in their crossfire motors, and
Oh,
you run
like a
dual
Ford
throttle
Escort?
bodies.
Oh, so it goes into like a carburetor, like an injector in the top of a
Oh
carburetor.
no, that was the second way I was going. Is you've got the injector that actually is behind the carburetor,
Yeah.
and then you've got the direct in-cylinder injection, which is the only real injection, you know, in my mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm not a big fan of the new stuff, which is I think that's called direct injection, the newer ones, because there's a lot of issues, because the fuel system has to be pressurized at such a high pressure for those to
Yes.
work.
Well, you've got to, yeah, it's the fuel system on a car. I actually had a Datsun that had a bad return valve on it and wouldn't start because of it. It's just too funny. It kept flooding the engine. I couldn't figure out why. It turned out the check valve for the return for the fuel was sticking.
Yeah.
So it had a 60-pound pump, and I needed 35 pounds.
Okay.
So the 60-pound pump keeps it up to the 35 pounds, and your little check valve lets it go back into the tank with a 35-pound spring on it.
Yeah.
And that's how fuel injection keeps pressure in the rail. The reason you run a 60-pound pump is because when all those injectors are opening in a hurry, you know, if you're running 6,000 RPM, 8,000 RPM, then your pressure, of course, goes down. So you need a pump that's adequate to get the volume of gas to keep the pressure up.
Michael wants us to all go diesel.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Says do F1 cars have spark plugs? I suppose the electric ones don't, but yeah, if it's got a combustion engine and it's not diesel, it's got a spark plug.
Oh yeah. Right, I gotta go, guys. I'm eating my dinner.
Okay, well,
Simone,
Good.
thank you for
Thank
passing
you very
through.
much for
Thank
the
you so much.
advice for the spark.
Okay,
Good
wait,
luck
now,
with that.
you need to just stay there. Now we'll make you really
What are you doing?
Spark plug.
Now we're just gonna watch you eat dinner.
No. You can have a look at it. That's it. Yeah. Right.
Wait. Let me see if you got something better than me.
It's,
Yeah,
um,
I think you win.
It's
I think so.
chicken garlic Kiev
oh,
with some potato and spaghetti.
Yum.
You know, me and my wife travel a whole lot, and one of the jokes we have is the people that go to England for food are just eating fish and chips.
Yeah.
Oh, I love fish and chips.
No, I love fish and
But-
chips.
Yeah,
I
I've got to
could
be in
live
the
on
right.
it.
Yeah.
Got to be in the right mood for it though.
Well,
But if I do have
Yeah.
it, it's either got to be really good gravy or really good curry sauce.
but remember, in
Yeah.
America, if you get fish and chips, you're usually ordering through a clown face. So,
Yeah.
you know, and you're sitting behind the wheel of your car, you know.
Yeah, you've not tried. If you've not been to the UK, you haven't tried fish and chips. So
No.
I've actually eaten at one of the Hell's Kitchens in the UK.
nice.
Had
Yeah.
to when we were there.
Yeah, I don't blame
We
you.
spent, I guess, a week there, and we had to go to the Hard Rock to get a T-shirt because everywhere we go, you can get a Hard Rock T-shirt.
God bless
And
That shit's
and my
smashed.
wife explained to me
Thank you.
that her husband was going to take her to the Hell's Kitchen restaurant there, and she says, "Do you want to be that guy?" That's like, yikes, you know.
Right.
Now here's the big
Hey, guys.
question for fish and chips in the UK: do they use beef drippings
No.
for
I'm
frying?
not sure. For the oil, I'm not too sure what they use for the oil.
See, over here in Canada, it's either canola or vegetable oil. Peanut
Yeah.
oil's
Yeah.
too expensive. Sunflower oil's too expensive. But I heard that an original UK uses beef drippings, and it's supposed to be
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, the lard.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
Huh.
think 99% of the chip shops around in Scotland use oil. It's probably hard to find anyone that uses the beef dripping anymore
yeah.
to cook the chips in.
Well, when
On
I
the
worked at
description of the
high-end
feed,
restaurants,
on the description of the feed, I said we'll talk about engine problems and favorite tools and nothing in particular.
And we're talking.
I should have listed fish and chips.
We're talking food again,
Yeah.
just like Conkers. Conkers. They said it was a food discussion on Conkers Live the other day.
Yeah.
will your engine run on cooking oil?
Project.
Now
Farm
wait,
wants
Michael
to put-
Roberts got an opinion on that. I'll bet. What do you think, Michael?
Mm.
Cooking oil and a diesel.
Not
He was
so
just
much,
saying that he's a
something,
diesel
yeah.
person. He's
Yeah.
a diesel kind of guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know a diesel will run on it, but can you use it in the crankcase?
Oh, once you can use butter
Mm.
once.
Once. yeah,
Yeah.
once.
Once, yeah.
Yeah, though I'd hate to see the rings, or I hate to see the bearings.
Yeah.
No, my brother-in-law had a Volkswagen Golf, and he ran them off of on vegetable oil.
But yeah, Michael, do they use it in the crankcase? He's talking about using it in the crankcase, not in the combustion chamber.
Yeah, in Africa they use it to run. Well, your biodiesel.
Hey, Tim.
Your
Bill.
biodiesel. The problem is that in the
Oh, hi, Tim Jones.
in the colder weather, they don't come up.
Did you think I was trying to get your attention, Tim?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Michael's saying no. That's probably not a good idea. I gotta agree with him on this one.
Yeah, me
It just sounds like something that'll work fantastic one time.
Yeah.
It'll get you out of a jam, but you'll be jammed from then on.
You'll be in a new jam
Yeah.
on the next day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or we always
No.
it's like we joke around with the guys in the like little Hondas. They say, yeah, I had this up to 160 miles an hour. It's like, dude, you know, if you do the math on the gear ratios and all that, it'll go 160 once. And then the engine will blow up, and that's the end of going 160. You know?
Yeah, you're hitting 9,200 at that point. So.
Oh, you got at least 9,200.
At
I
least.
haven't done the math, but you're probably running 11,000 RPM.
Oh my goodness gracious! I had a
Like my old hot
96
rod, I had a 71 Monte Carlo, and yeah, we did everything to that motor. Started out with a 454 and just went batshit crazy on that engine, getting as much power out of it as we can. And everybody'd say, "Wow, it picks the front wheels up." I say, "Yeah, that thing flies." This is, "Wow, I bet it's really fast." And I said, "Go like 120 odd miles an hour." And they say, "It'll go faster than that." And I said, "Nope. I've got a 373 full posi rear end. That's all." I said, "I'm at 5,800 RPM at 120. I'm just out of motor. You know, that's all I got." I said, "But getting there, I get there in a hurry."
Yeah, and I mean, you could get past that, but again, you don't want to over rev it.
Hey, Tim, if you got a camera, you want to come up on the panel? We can talk about it. And maybe you could show us the chainsaw. Chainsaw that won't start is pretty general.
Yeah,
But
it's either a carb
I'm a-
clean or
I'm a two-stroke fanatic.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
Could be a plugged spark arrestor too.
yeah, it could be the spark arrestor. Yeah,
Oh yeah, if that thing's plugged up, you're done.
yeah,
Yeah, the
These-
spark. Usually when a chainsaw dies, chainsaws have one problem that no other piece has got. They use them in October only.
That's why any that come in here get filled with alkylate fuel.
Yeah. It's when I pull a chainsaw apart, I've already got a carburetor already rebuilt and in my hand, with every intention of replacing the carburetor
Yeah,
right up
yeah.
front. If I don't
Yeah.
have one for that one, I'll go buy a cheap carburetor for it. And yeah, and I know people will say, "Oh, but you got to use the OEM." I say, "No, you don't. The cheap carburetors work 95% of the time, and they're more than 95% cheaper." You know.
They are.
he says he
they
can't seem to get a spark, so it's possibly the plug then.
Yeah, if you can't get a spark, the first thing I do is check the switch, which is the lazy man's
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big time. Oh,
Yeah.
too many times.
Yeah,
It could
the
be a
switch
coil.
itself, the on-off switch, is. I had one, and I'm always I do this all the time, and I always feel stupid when I do it, and I hate to admit it in public. But when you've got them with the flip toggle switch, I'll yank it 9 times and then realize I didn't turn the damn thing on.
Been there.
I just did that with the leaf blower when I ran out to the shed
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah,
I
or
was
it's
like,
got the
man,
little slidey
I'm
switch
pulling on
the
this thing, and I'm like, man, why won't this thing start? And I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't hit the switch.
I've got a steel weed eater sitting out there, and when I've got them all ready to go and sell. About once a week, I'll go start them because I've never got more than 4 or 5 things ready to sell. But in the winter, of course, it's more like 7 or 8 while I'm waiting for spring to come
Yeah.
along.
Yeah.
And I pulled on that steel about 9 times, and it's like, the hell's wrong with this? I used this thing a couple of weeks ago. It ran great. And then I looked at it, and you're going like this, looking down it and looking at it, and looked at the little switch and said, God, I'm an idiot.
Jake always
God.
leaves the switches after he shuts something off. He turns the switch back to the on position when he shuts it off. It dies, he puts it back on the on, and he never has an issue. I'm out
I
there,
do that with my leaf blower.
and I say, oh yeah, what an idiot. Same thing. Didn't
Yeah.
turn the switch on.
I do the same thing. I turn my leaf blower off, and then after it's done, I turn it back up, so then I don't forget to do it the next time. I apparently didn't do it the last time. Last week, the last live actually on Wednesday, because every single time we're on a live, I go out and I start my equipment, my own personal equipment.
Yeah.
And then since the last live, I put a needle and seat in my neighbor's lawnmower, and then when you were seeing the ceiling of my porch there, I ran out and put 2 ounces of fuel in my neighbor's mower, and it's been running ever since. On
Yeah, they run
2
forever.
ounces. It's running
Yeah.
forever because it's got no load.
Yeah. Now, okay, Tim, the person who told you that it had too much compression. Now, if it's a Husqvarna, if it's a big Husqvarna, it could have a compression release on it. If it's a
Right.
little one, it doesn't. There's no such thing as too much compression in a chainsaw. If she
No.
pulled on it and the string was hard to pull and all that, you could have a compression release problem, but that's 100 to 1. What you probably had was the wrong person looking at it.
Yeah.
It's when I grab a chainsaw and I'm thinking about buying a chainsaw at a garage sale or wherever I get it, somebody calls me and says I got a chainsaw for sale. The first thing I do when I'm talking to them, I don't even think about it. I go grab the pull cord and pick the chainsaw up. And while I'm talking to them, I wait to see if the chainsaw starts going down the cord.
Yeah.
If the chainsaw starts going down the cord even a little bit, that tells
Yeah.
me that it's leaking.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, too much compression. When you start a chainsaw, you should have to put your foot on it so that if it kicks back, you have
Yeah.
to put your foot on it or it will kick back and jump
Yeah.
like it's got too much compression. It'll jump back in your face.
That's why
And
I
you got to
always start
remember, the
chainsaw.
ladies normally don't have the strength that a man does. No disrespect
No.
here, but normally
No,
you
no.
don't have the pulling strength.
That's reality. It's not intended as being disrespectful. You're right.
Right.
It's the odds that it's got too much compression. I've got better odds of being elected the next president.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got my vote, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as your last name ain't Clinton.
My last name's not Clinton or Trump, so I can't be worse than everybody.
Correct. And you're not sleepy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, I'm a Republican, but I'm not a Trump fanatic. And I just wish we'd get a good Republican that's not named Trump, you know?
Yeah.
And some people love him, and I can't fault people for what they like. You know, I'm not gonna be a racist about it.
It's
But
a
it's just not me.
236 X Talk.
I'm gonna look up the 236. I want to see how big that is. See if it's got a compression release.
And you'd be surprised how much equipment we get in where we just change a spark plug. And no disrespect to torches, but if we're doing it, a lot of times it's a torch plug that's failed. Eh?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
straight in the
38.
bin.
Oh no, that's not it.
Let's check the compression, and it was about 150 compression.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, the compression is batshit crazy on a chainsaw compared to a weed eater.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Husqvarna.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chainsaw now
Yeah.
on Google.
Claypool's got one.
That
Got
looks like a pretty
Husqvarna
small
there.
chainsaw. I bet it doesn't have a compression release. Okay, you got 150 pounds of compression is not unreasonable for a chainsaw. That means you got a really tight chainsaw. It does not mean you got too much compression. When was the last time you ran it, Tim? So I'd love to have him up here so we could
Yeah.
so we could talk about it.
We might not have StreamYard.
You don't need it.
Oh, no?
Hey, I was just trying to show mine. I got the Husqvarna 455, and this is the compression relief button.
That's
Yeah,
the 455. Yeah,
that's a big
he's
check.
got the X-Torque engine, which is a little bit smaller engine.
Yeah, so it probably doesn't even have one. But
That's what I'm thinking. That's why I said that was my first question was how big is it? You know.
yeah, I mean I'm out
It
of
says you
fuel in
can't-
it. It's all run out. It's seasoned right now, so I'm not even going to bother putting any fuel in it. But
Yeah, it says this is a 9-pound, $170 chainsaw. With a
$170.
Husqvarna,
Yeah, that's
170-pound chainsaw.
170 pounds. Whoa.
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. But that means, yeah, something like that. That looks like a standard issue homeowner saw. Looking at it, that means it probably doesn't have a compression release.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would. It's how long it sat. If it sat for a real long time, I know, of course, you probably don't have a lot of carburetor rebuilding time in, but get a cheap little carburetor for it. Let's Amazon real quick and look for that. I'll bet you a nickel. I would bet you a nickel. I would bet you donuts that a carburetor would fix it.
Yeah, but he's not getting spark, right? Or he knows he's not getting spark.
No,
Now he said
yeah,
somebody
he
told him
says
it has
he's not
too much
getting spark.
compression.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go really cheap with that, you can buy a carburetor for $16 on Amazon. Oh, there's Tim. Hey Tim, how you doing?
Yeah,
I hope you saw the picture.
I missed it.
All right, Tim.
I can go back out there and grab my saw, but I mean that was just showing where the pressure relief was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
but I had to look all over for one. There isn't one.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think you've got one on yours. The lady that said it had too much compression, I don't think that was a chainsaw person.
No. I've noticed the chain's quite tight as well.
Okay, now that's adjustable.
I've tried loosening it off, but it don't seem to loosen
So
off
what
very
you do is the two bolts in the side,
Yeah.
those two fat bolts, like 9/16 or whatever millimeters they are, loosen those just the tiniest little bit, just
Yeah.
enough to where you got a tiny bit of wiggle in the bar, and then
Mhm.
usually on the front, either under or over the blade, you'll see a place where you can put a flathead screwdriver,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and that's where you loosen it.
Yeah.
That's where you loosen and tighten it. Usually a chain will loosen itself up all by itself real nicely.
Yeah,
It's
especially when it gets hot.
Yeah. Well, you tighten it as you go, but somebody may have over tightened it already.
Mhm.
So yeah, you want it to the point. You want it to the point where you can pull it, and without putting a hole, without dangling by the chain. But if you go to the middle of the bar on a 16-inch bar, you should be able to pull it and just see the very bottom of the tooth.
And if you want to be safe, take the bar and the chain off, and then get the machine running.
Yeah.
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 And make
That's
sure
true.
the
Then you
tip
don't
of the bar,
have blade lock on.
if the
Yeah,
tip of the
okay.
bar has a hole on either side, on the flat side, you want to make sure you grease that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say I took it off and it was all right mess inside.
But if you
Well,
got
that's
spark,
normal though.
do you
Yeah,
have spark?
I've cleaned it out as best I can, but I haven't got a compressor yet.
Well, now it's as I don't know if you heard me, but yeah, I looked that chainsaw up. You can buy an aftermarket carb for $16 for it. And on chainsaws, because chainsaws tend to sit for most of the year
No.
and then get started up and they get run for a month.
Yeah.
I tell you, at the beginning of fall, I'll buy 15 chainsaws for $18 each, used that don't start. And I go through and I literally line up carburetors that match each chainsaw from my rebuild, because I'll take them and replace them with a new one if I don't have one, and then I'll put it in my what I call my carburetor box, which is just arbitrary carburetors that haven't been rebuilt. And then I'll have an afternoon on a Tuesday where I'll go rebuild all of them and put new everything inside all of them. And then as I get more chainsaws, I look and see if I've got one that matches.
Yeah, and then you've got OEM carbs in stock.
Exactly. But remember, if you buy an aftermarket carb, take your old carb off first. Clean it up with a paper towel and have it sitting on the desk in front of you, in front of the computer, and make sure everything matches.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People who say that the aftermarket carbs are terrible and they don't work and they're the devil's work and all this, what they are is people who don't pay enough attention and match the carb up well.
Yeah.
Correct.
Just because Amazon says that it'll fit your particular motor,
Machine.
they're trusting the person who made that carb, and that's a person who probably doesn't have good English translation skills.
No.
I'm being nice here. I'm trying to be nice.
You are
Yeah.
being very nice, Bill.
Nice. Yeah.
We offer our customers the choice. If they want an aftermarket, they get it. But I've had a lot of people comment that, oh, you should be giving them a guarantee. When we put an aftermarket carb on, no guarantee.
But Tim's talking about his own personal chainsaw.
Yes, but,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
as
it's
a
not that one,
business,
it's
we got to say
somebody
we can't give you a guarantee that it's going to run through the whole season, or you might not have issues next year. With the OEM carb, if they do what we say and they put a can of alkylate fuel in it for storage,
Yeah.
get it running and run it through so it's in through the carb and the lines and everything, and they store it, we tell them we guarantee you it'll start in 2 years.
Now, Tim,
I
I've
agree
got a
with
couple
you,
of
Ray.
videos on this, but one thing you're going to want to do if you pull the carb off is replace the fuel lines. And if you watch any of my chainsaw videos replacing a fuel line, you'll see I used a special little wire tool. When you buy the fuel line for the weed eater, you'll spend an extra 50 cents to get that little tool along with it. Find a kit that has that little wire, because you'll see a lot of people say this is the best way to do it, and they'll do it without the wire pulling, the line pulling tool. And I sit there and it's like, really, that's the best way to do it. I don't want this guy cutting my hair.
I've watched you use
Not
that
even
tool,
this.
Bill, and I will be buying one of those tools this year.
Yeah, Tim, I don't know if you were here earlier. My wife likes my hair long and I don't. So when she took off on the trip, I dyed the ends red.
They're always red tail hawk, Tim.
And I used red Kool-Aid, and then I decided it wasn't red enough to annoy her, so I used a red magic marker. I promise she's going to look at it and she's going to go, oh, I can't leave him alone. I told her I was going to do it, and she says, yeah, you're going to run around for a week with red hair. I want to see that.
Yeah.
So this big compression chainsaw, does it have spark, Tim?
I didn't see spark. I've tested for spark and I put a new spark.
Spark. because that's the first thing you got to look at is if you got smart.
Sorry, Tim. No, it wasn't you. Oh, it was Paul.
No, no, my kids are quiet.
I don't have any.
That's my granddaughter.
Oh, okay. Oh, you've got right to kill right now since we're talking about your machine. You can make the noise.
Yeah, I keep hitting mute every time my kids get loud, so that's why.
We had a chainsaw come in and it was repaired at another shop, and the guy said it ran and then it died on him. Could we take a look at it? It was missing a head bolt.
Okay.
Really?
It had 3 head bolts in it, and they were on the loose side. And once I tightened it up, I actually got it to fire up and run perfect with 3 head bolts. And I had to go out and buy a head bolt to put in to give it back to the guy.
Yeah, I would definitely go with the with new fuel lines, only because you're already opening it. You might as well get it over with. If you're going to get dirty, get completely dirty. I'd go with new fuel lines and a carb. And remember, if it's got too much compression, to pull it like this, that means you might have a usable chainsaw.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it tomorrow.
If you can hold the chainsaw in one hand and pull the cord with the other, that chainsaw is what the technical term is broke.
Yeah.
The thing's broke as hell if you can pull the
Or
cord
it could be the coin.
holding it with the other hand. Yeah, if you do this and you yank it away, then you might be able to start it that way. But keep in mind, I've broken this hand twice. That right here,
Genius.
doing just exactly that. I don't do that anymore. I'm tired of having a cast on my right hand. Well, I'm sure if you watch my videos, you'll see me with a brace on my hand.
Yeah.
And it's been a couple of different times, and it was every single time it was me thinking, okay, well, it's already warmed up. I can get away with it this time.
Yeah.
And then it came back and broke my hand. And it's like,
Genius.
God, dang,
I have
damn
worked
it.
with chainsaws before, so I know how to start them.
And if it's one of the newer chainsaws, it's got that easy start with the double spring method in it. You got to make sure you don't drop start them
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you'll snap the one spring every time.
yeah.
I always put it on the floor and put my foot in the handle.
That is always the smart way to go.
Yeah.
Well, the smartest way to go is to get somebody else to come and do the job with their own chainsaw. That's the best I could think of.
Wayne, you're a smart man.
I think so.
Yeah, I've got a little still to look at as well.
Mm.
Do you like pancakes?
That runs and then bogs down after a bit.
Now, was that other saw a chainsaw?
Yeah, it's a
A
still
Husqvarna?
chainsaw.
Is it a Husqvarna?
I've got a Husqvarna to look at.
Oh,
And,
for God's sake.
and
It was
a,
at
a,
236.
yeah.
Hey, Bill, remember that I was talking about the bearing on the clutch? And it's non-greasable. You have to take it off and grease it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, but that's a
It
used
is the-
chainsaw, so he should be okay. It's already got
Yeah.
some revolutions on it.
Yeah.
On a new one, you'd want to do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Well,
first thing
I'm
I did.
just
Pull cord up and stuff
mentioning
like
that. Just
Doing.
Yeah,
Okay, well-
it's
Because
I did watch a video and that was the first thing they said to do. Just check the pull cord first.
yeah, but I would bet you a nickel that because chainsaws terminally sit, and they sit and sit and sit, and then
Yeah.
people say, okay, well, I'm going to go get it next week so I don't have to drain the gas. Then they put it in the shed and forget about it for 11 months until it gets cold
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
You know, it sits all summer with
Just
you know,
like generators.
who knows? Yeah, who knows what temperature in the shed? In
Yeah.
Texas,
Yeah,
It
that's
can-
it. I mean, I don't know how long it's been standing.
I've got one of those little, the little round dial thermometers. I've got one that's got the little red thing that it pushes over.
Yeah.
And the highest I've seen it push over to, and this is in the shade for half the day. My shed is against the back of the house. The highest I've seen it pushed over to is 143. I don't know what that translates to in Celsius, but it translates to warm, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a
More
bit
like
warm.
hot.
Yeah. That crazy hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gets and think the chainsaw, my chainsaw lives in my garage, not in the shed. But my equipment that does live in the shed, you know, it spends the winter sitting out there, and that's the last thing I do before I close that shed for the last time in the winter. Is when I pick up the leaves in November, I take everything out one at a time, and I spread them all across the driveway, just like I'm getting ready to do the yard in the morning. And instead of putting gas in, I take all the gas out and then start them. And then it's like I'll start the edger, and then put a tie strap around it so it'll stay running, and set it at an angle where it won't drive away on me. And then I'll start up the lawnmower, and the lawnmower I start up in front of the shed because it's heavy and I don't want to have to push it very far.
Yeah.
But I start up everything and let it sit till it dies
Before he put it away.
before I put it away in the winter.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
But I tell you, my 12-year-old $79 weed eater, I'd bet you a nickel that we can go put gas in it right now, and it hasn't been started for 2 months. We can go put gas in it right now. It's a $79 Walmart weed eater.
It'll fire up.
It'll fire up on the second pull.
Yeah.
It'll take one pull for the gas to remember which way to go to run. Oh, we dropped Tim for a second there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
Probably won't see me at the minute. I've just gone out to the shed.
Oh, I thought maybe John Flynn was at your house.
Yeah, John's always in the dark.
Yeah, John's always in the dark. It's how he's happy, though.
Yeah.
If he's happy that way, let him be that way.
Yeah.
How do I turn the camera around?
Are you on your phone?
Greasy
Yeah.
Rag says the 236 is a
There should be
$50
a thing at the bottom of your phone saying switch camera.
Yeah,
or at the top
and if
right-hand
you have a
corner.
crankcase leak, they won't like to run.
Yeah, it says they fail and want to offer full advance and start making the cord want to pull out of your hand.
Yeah, but I've seen, just from experience, from what I've seen with chainsaws, I barely even try to start them before I go after that carburetor. And it works 9 out of 10 times.
We quit doing them. We quit doing all the two-stroke stuff other than snowblowers.
Okay, here you go. Let me bump you up. Rotate your camera sideways so we get a full page view. There you go. That's a good looking chainsaw too.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any dust on it.
Doesn't look as though it's done much work.
No.
Yeah, I would bet you. Turn it on its side and open up the gas tank, and let's see what the gas looks like.
Don't know if there's any in it. I think there's sort of bit in it.
Well, that's what I'm curious about is if we're lucky enough to be able to peek inside, we'll be able to see fuel lines and things.
Yeah, it's small. Smelt okay when I smelt it. It's a bit gunky.
Yeah. And she's been running it on the right fuel mix. That's the thing, because that could be another fact.
Yeah, I'm going to empty it out tomorrow anyway.
Now, if it ran on regular gas, you probably wouldn't have any compression. It sounds like compression's not a problem here.
No.
You see?
Yeah.
I can see a bit, but yeah, all I can see is darkness. I would pour the gas out.
Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, take the gas out, and after you take the gas out, pump the primer until it runs empty.
Yeah.
And then dump that out, and then put fresh mix in it.
Yeah.
And you can run it 40 to 1. That engine will be happy as hell to run 40 to 1 mix.
I've got 40 to 1 from a strimmer, so
there you go. Yeah, go with what it is on the strimmer. The worst thing you'll do is you'll smoke a little bit, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. They do say it smokes a bit too much, a bit if you've got too rich a mix.
Yeah. But yeah, and if you've got too much oil in, you'll smoke just a little. But I always tell people it's like that smoke is what it looks like when a motor's going to last a long time.
Now, is he mixing his own fuel? Or
I've got that one to look at as well.
Oh, I felt my heart just skip a beat on that one.
Did you?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. That's all right. Mess. Mucky as anything, that is.
Tim, are you mixing your own fuel or are you using canned fuel?
I mix my own.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do.
That's what I do as well. I mix my own fuel.
E5 and 2-stroke. I try not to use the new E10 stuff.
Garage near me only does the E10, but I can go to a Shell garage and that does the E5 and the E10. But
Yeah.
I need to get my son to take me to the Shell garage. I drive away.
Yeah, and guys, you got to help me out.
So
I just looked over. I've got a little monitor window that I keep off to the right. That's why you see me look over here occasionally.
Yeah.
I've got a little monitor window that I look at, and I need 27 subscribers to get to 1,000.
Yes. Everybody out there, get
I'm that
your
close.
neighbors.
Spread the word. Spread the word.
Spread the word. Get your neighbors to subscribe.
I'll be back in a minute.
I told everybody in Top Conquerors live stream, go and get 5 subscribers for Conquerors. Been sitting at 330 forever. So,
I think he's jumped a couple.
yeah, well, somebody they must have went out and got a couple months. But I said everybody go out and get 5 people to get subscribed to his channel. So same thing. Do the same thing for Bill here, so he could get to that 1K. It's not that far off.
Well, it's when I started this about a year ago. I told everybody, I said, my goal is not to make a ton of money doing YouTube. My goal is to make fun videos that show interesting things about engines.
Yeah.
And to make $1.
Oh, you'll make a buck.
$1. That's all. Just one.
If you keep it up for a long time, you'd be surprised. As long as you keep having growth, eh?
Yeah, and the channel it's bopping along pretty good. It took about well, I guess it's about May of last year. I sort of found my way and started focusing on engines.
You've done well. There's a lot of guys out there that started 3 years ago and they haven't hit the 1,000 yet.
Yeah, and that's what Bruce tells me, and he's got like 45,000. He said, dude, and he said, you're doing fine. He says, you really are.
But when Bruce started, and same thing when Jake started, originally, I think you only needed 100 subscribers or something to get monetized. And then they had it got changed. I forget if it was 100. Maybe it was more than 100. I don't know. It was more than 100.
It took me 4 months. It took me 4 months to hit 100. It took me probably now from my first video, which I had no direction when I first started the channel. I hadn't found direction yet. But for my first video, it took almost a year to get the first 500.
Yeah.
And then it took 5 months to get where I am now after that.
Yeah.
So it is hopping right along.
I
and I
think
get to
I've
play with
already
a lot of.
subscribed, so.
And I figure I make enough selling the motors to at least support my camera equipment addiction.
Yeah.
Because I got tons of tripods and a teleprompter and special lights and green screens, and something's got to pay for that.
A lot of the viewers out there don't even realize the amount of time that goes into putting on a video. Like Jake could spend 16 hours putting, not including the filming while he's working on something, but he could put in 16 hours of putting that whole video together so it comes out right.
My last video, I'm big on editing, and I've got special keyboards and all that whatnot. I've got the DaVinci keyboard, and I went and got the full-blown version of the DaVinci software, which is just a rock star of editing software. But the last video I did, I spent less than 10 minutes editing. Now I do fly through it because I've got the special keyboard and all that.
Yeah.
But I had 2 cuts in the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I cut one part out where I stopped and washed my hands and ate a sandwich. And I cut another part out where I used a very minor curse word. Not like F words or anything.
When
That's
Jake's
not
working
me.
on something, he'll be filming, and then all of a sudden something will come in, and we got to work on it to get it out. The other one's the filming video. So all of a sudden he's breaking off from that, getting on to something else to get that piece of equipment out. Then the next day back to filming again, and all of a sudden more equipment's coming in. He's got to get that out. So he's got off and on breaks while he's filming all the time.
Oh yeah, I'd have said we only
Anyway,
have 5
Bill,
likes
you know
so
that-
far.
Bill?
No, we've got 17 now though. Say
Bill?
again?
That little still. That one starts, but it bogs down after about 10 minutes.
If it's bogging after 10 minutes, what you want to check is make sure your return line from your carburetor is not clogged. If it's
Yeah.
predictable 10 minutes, that can do that. Now,
Yeah, I'm gonna
basically
start
what
that
you'll
one up
have is the
tomorrow as
fuel's
well
not
and see.
flowing correctly. Also check and make sure that whoever put the fuel lines in it didn't put a short fuel line in on the feeder side. You know, the side with the filter.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see stupidness, like the filter falls off, and then it bogs down after 10 minutes, but you don't realize it, but you turn it at an angle, and because the filter fell off, it's not holding the line down in the gas.
Yeah.
And it's dangling free, and it just runs out of gas. It starves itself.
And the spark arrestor too, Bill.
Yeah.
And but for 10 minutes, the spark arrestor gets you way before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's right.
You shouldn't be able to rev up with a spark arrestor that's
No.
clogged.
No, that's true.
I'm a two-stroke like fanatic on that stuff, you know. But yeah, spark arresters. And Tim, if you decide to take it out, you take that little cover off. You'll see on your muffler, you've got a little flat plate that's got its own screws. If you remove that, there's a little steel screen behind it. There's a little steel screen behind it. If you're going into the forest to cut down your trees, and you might burn the forest down, clean it. If you're not going into the forest to cut down your trees and you're doing it in your driveway, put it in your pocket and put the cover back on. That screen does you no good in your yard.
It's not mine. I'm looking at it for somebody.
Ah.
Would you call it going non-resistant?
It wouldn't hurt while you've got it apart to clean the spark arrestor. Yeah. Paul's absolutely right. It's take it and it's like 3 screws usually, one on one end and then one on each side, and then on the far side you've got the opening. Just take those 3 screws out and you'll see that screen.
Yeah.
If you've got a butane torch, hit it with the butane torch really good, and then scrub it with a steel brush.
Yeah.
And then it's good to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, get it nice
The
and
only
hot with the
reason-
torch. You're burning up everything that's on it, and then use the brush to brush it off.
Yeah.
The only reason I mentioned that
just
though is because I've seen them load up.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I said, yeah, that'll take the load off of it, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
it'll load up the gas over time.
True. I suppose, yeah, you're right. If you're in
Rate
that
it
median
4.
range when it's
Yep.
kind of clogged,
Yep.
10 minutes is a long time though.
It is though. I would think more like 5 or 4 minutes, but you know,
I'm going to run it
I
tomorrow
picture a
and find out.
homeowner.
Something else, something that just occurred to me you have to watch, especially if it's predictably 10 minutes, is your coil could be going soft.
Oh,
Well,
that's a good
like
point.
I say, it's
A hot
Yeah,
coil,
yeah,
is less conductive than a cold coil, and
Yeah.
but usually, and I say usually, which means that not always. Usually, a hot coil will shut the motor off all at once. You'll run for 10 minutes and then it'll go poof and it's gone.
yeah, just died.
It'll idle forever, but the minute you start putting a good load on it and run it for a couple minutes, it just dies. And you let it sit for 2 minutes and it starts up and it runs great. And then after a couple of minutes, it dies again.
That's the coil on the way out.
That's the coil on the way out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll run it tomorrow and see how long it lasts.
And
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
other thing is
Find the
does it
pattern.
force when you're not under a load and you got the saw started up and you got it full trigger. I don't know if you know this term, but does it sound like it's 4-stroking? And then when you hit when you have a load, it shouldn't be 4-stroking.
Yeah, like I say, I don't know. I haven't started it.
You might not know. Phil, you probably know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm letting you go on this one because it's like I know where you're going with it, but you're right.
Yeah, because I mean
It's
I know
something
people that'll be 4-stroking
that's-
while you're bogging on it, and now you're fouling the plug up.
Yeah.
And that could take 10 minutes too.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of turning the H screw down just a tiny bit, the
Just
tiniest
a little
bit,
bit.
a 16th of a turn.
Yeah, I'll
If that, yeah.
I just need adjusting.
You know what we should do is, if you haven't got to it by next Sunday, get the top cover off and everything,
Yeah,
and we can do a live chainsaw dissection.
Yeah.
in the dark.
Well, you're going to have to light us up just a little bit.
Yeah, something
A
else.
lot.
Trust me, my wife will tell you I don't work well in the dark.
Oh, bada boom.
Yeah. Hey, I can't pass up a cheap one, even if I'm the subject of it. You know?
Exactly. Me either.
I don't work in the dark. I value my fingers too much.
Keep in mind, you're talking to somebody with red-tipped hair. I
Yeah.
am way too old to have red-tipped hair.
Yeah.
There you go. You
Hey.
can see it. You can see it pretty good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
This
have
is
a
probably
You
way
gotta
too
admit.
wrong.
Where's it at?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I can see
That
it.
is funny. That is funny.
But you can see how long it is too, and she likes
Yeah.
it that long.
Yeah.
And
But
I
she's got to
don't.
have something to grab onto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey now. Hey now.
So I should say fingers never get soft.
No, he's reminding me to unplug my camera before I leave.
Oh, nice. Good one.
It's cheap, and I'm picking on myself, but that's okay. You know?
Yeah, I'll have a look at your videos first as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly, when I make a video, I can't speak for everybody. When I make a video, I have to edit bad jokes out of them every single time. Or I'll use the two words that I'll use the most are I use it as one long word, but it's pig and then an F word attached to it.
Big left.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And that's when I'm truly aggravated with something. and then I say damn it occasionally. And then I say, I can't leave that in a video.
Yeah, I'll have
I
a
know
look
it's
at
pretty
the
soft,
videos.
but it's not my way.
Mhm.
I've got grandkids.
Yeah.
And my grandkids might watch the videos. I seriously doubt it, since all but one of them are girls. There's a whole bunch of them, but they're all girls. They've got no interest in my video. But nice thing about having a granddaughter is if you decide to do your hair red, you know who to call.
Yeah.
And she told me Kool-Aid, and if that doesn't work, magic marker. And then they made me promise I'd send them a picture.
I'm waiting for some young kids out there to start a YouTube channel on small engine repair. I'm kind of surprised there's young ones.
Come on, Wayne, we're all young compared to you.
Well, no, I know, but I'm talking about. I had one guy come down, bring like a father and mother brought their son down to buy a Subaru engine I had. It was fully serviced, horizontal shaft. I think I wanted $100 for it. Like whatever you want to do, this thing was completely running. Everything was brand new in it, changed. And a young kid shows up. I think he was 14 years old, and he pulled out a plastic bag with the money. And I said, "Whose money is this?" And he says, "My money. I've been saving up." I said, "What are you building?" He said, "A go-kart." I said, "Okay." I took the money out. I gave him $40 back. I said, "It's yours for $60. Now you, Dad, and you, Mom, you got $40 worth of tools. You got to buy them for Christmas this year."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, that's the first time I've had a youngster show up that was really interested in doing anything.
Yeah.
And guys leaving comments, just so you know, I'm not responding to the comments only because on mine in particular, my comments have locked up.
Yeah.
I've got a different comment section.
Yeah, I think mine are working.
Well, no,
Bill
it's
Clement says hi to everybody.
you got to remember, mine looks like this when I'm doing it. And the comment section, this part is attached to it. And I've got all the people in the basement and all that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And Adam Elliott says the only reason your wife knows where you are is because that red on the back of your hair.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure the normal places that I haunt during the week and everything are probably going to find great humor in this.
Okay, I'm going to go, guys, anyway.
Right,
We're getting towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to watch some videos on chainsaws.
Yeah.
I've got lots of them, I've got lots of videos on chainsaws.
I've seen some. Some of them look like right idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you later.
I tell you what,
Okay.
you won't find a lot of people of the people who have got a lot of views that have chainsaw videos,
Yeah.
only because a chainsaw will make you look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's
Right,
some
and
good
Tim-
channels out there, including Bill's, that
Yeah.
you can check out. You know, all kinds of them out there.
Yeah,
Oh, I
I'll
love
look
working
at
on
those.
chainsaws.
Is that Mick?
Ooh,
I thought I heard Mick.
no,
Nope.
I haven't seen Mick.
No, it was Wayne doing his Mick impersonation.
Oh, that was
Nice.
me doing a Mick impersonation. I got a shave to do a Mick impersonation.
Yeah, I did. Bye, guys.
I'll see you
See you later,
later.
Tim.
Take care,
Stay
Tim.
safe.
Have fun, Tim. Wait.
What time is it in the UK right now?
Hey, Adam, how you doing?
I
was wondering if you were gonna come up.
5 to 10 at night.
Yeah, you know, Tim and I really anguished over what time to do this,
Yeah.
and that's why I started out on Wednesday in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I thought, okay, get my feet wet and get comfortable with it, and you know, and learn where the buttons are, and
Yeah.
then I'll head over to the weekend and head over to
Yeah.
Sunday when,
Yeah.
you know, because on Wednesday, the 8 or 10 of us is all we're ever going to get, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Us hardcore guys. But
Yeah.
you know, on a Sunday, you know, in a month's time, we'll probably have 30 or 40.
Yeah.
So how many did you have today? What was the top number?
Well, I have 18 likes, so it means we had at least 18 at one point or another.
Wow, then that means you had for sure 36 or 40, because
That's
it's
true. Yeah.
surprising the people that are
Yeah,
watching
pretty
don't
much.
hit the like button,
Yeah. Yeah. You
like
don't
they
get
don't-
much love.
just like they don't hit the subscribe button, right?
Well, I'm
Like
telling you, yeah. And I've got 973 and holding.
So you picked up one.
I haven't picked up any today.
Oh,
No, I
not
picked
yet.
up a couple
Well-
today, but not in the last hour.
Right.
Well,
Well, I say that, and that's not true. I don't know.
When I'm looking at the Paul's YouTube channel, it says 974.
Actually, I just refreshed it. It says 976.
See, so you picked up a few.
So I'm getting a little closer. It's I
Yep.
I can feel YouTube, that first YouTube dollar breathing down my
Yeah.
right red neck.
You're gonna have to change the channel then. Now you're a redneck.
Yeah, no, yeah. If between the Kool-Aid and the ink, if it runs down my neck, I'll be a redneck.
Rednecks playing with tools. There you go.
Oh Lord.
Hey, you might get more likes with that one.
Yeah,
Oh, my God.
yeah. I don't think that's the likes I want.
No.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's this has done nothing other than crack me up.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care what anybody else says.
Yep.
Because I know that she'll look at it, her eyes will go. She'll say, "What the hell did you do to your hair?"
Yeah.
That's worth every bit of it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the people that know me, they'll see this. You know, they'll see the red tail of the hair sticking out, and they'll go, "Oh, Bill," you know. And they won't even think about it.
When your wife sees it, it's going to be like Riley Boy's Kinder Eggs. It's going to be surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the bad part is when you're doing it yourself, I don't know exactly how far up the back of my head I went because I was doing it like this.
Oh, jeez.
So I might have a Mick haircut when I'm done.
Uh-oh.
But I used permanent marker when I decided the Kool-Aid dye wasn't enough, which is why it's so shiny red. Where's it at? That's how I got the shiny red, was with red magic marker, with permanent marker. See, now is because you couldn't really see it; it'd always hide. This gives you an idea how long it really is. You know, this is the middle of the back of my hair over here. And but I tell you, Tim, my hair was no longer than yours when I met her.
Yeah.
And I was a professional software engineer. I was
Yeah.
a senior engineer with a big big company.
Yeah,
Mention, but it was a big company
Yeah.
making a typical computer programmer making a
Yeah.
substantial salary, and
Yeah.
you just didn't have hair like this. You just wasn't
No.
the thing. You
No.
know, you just didn't. I wore a tie. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if you can imagine me in a tie.
Yeah.
But actually, my friends will tell you I still do wear ties every now and again, even though I'm retired.
Jeez.
I don't know why, but I do. Like if we go out to eat or something, I'll dress correctly with a
Yeah.
jacket and tie and all that.
Yeah.
Well, you would have made it big at Woodstock, but you weren't even born, right? When Woodstock hit, were you?
When was Woodstock?
Woodstock, I think that was that was a long time. I don't even remember. I think that was
Most of the people that were there don't remember.
I think that was 1970. For some reason, I think it was 1970.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lie and say I wasn't born yet.
Wasn't it somewhere around the draft?
Well,
You're in Canada, so not.
Yeah, Canada doesn't fight anybody. They're like the world's
1969.
good guys.
Yeah, but no, I'm my old boss. I mean, he's what 71, 72 now, and he
your
said
old
he
boss. I'm
dodged the draft.
74.
He dodged the draft and went to Woodstock.
1969 Woodstock was on.
There you go.
Yeah,
I was
see,
close at 70.
Wayne's lucky to live in the friendliest country in the world. It's like, if we have a problem, Canada puts their Navy on a trailer and hooks it to the back of a pickup truck and sends it over to us to borrow.
The friendliest company in the world just said our prime minister was right in invoking the Emergency Act and stealing all of the people's money that were involved in the trucker convoy. Not good for Canada. Not good.
Well, no, and
Not
Canada,
good.
didn't they just ban hand firearms, handheld?
They wanted to take all our hunting rifles away.
Well, but they banned handguns, and they're not. You can't pass them down either. So once
Yeah,
you
there's restrictions on guns here in Canada like crazy.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
Listen, it's like, well, Bill lives in Texas, right? You got everybody can have a gun in Texas, right?
Oh no, it's required actually. It's yes. If you buy a 6-pack of beer, you get a coupon for a free gun.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, I got nothing against that because the good people aren't the people that are creating the problems. They got the guns. It's the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so many
Exactly.
bad guys, and now they're letting them out on bail. Like everybody's getting out on bail. All these bad guys, the police are catching, and they're out on bail the next day. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you live in Texas and everybody's got a gun, like you always hear about all this stuff in LA about people getting mad on the highway and shooting and all that. In Texas, nobody plays that game.
No,
Everybody drives a truck and every truck has a rifle rack in the back.
Yeah.
And you cut somebody off, you say, sorry, buddy. And they say, it's okay. And nobody wants to argue and fight with each other because they know everybody has a gun.
Amen to that. Yeah, the problem is you take the guns away from the good people, the bad people are going to get them no matter what.
Yeah. But when you're registered to vote in Texas, they say, okay, name, address, and, date of birth and favorite caliber and what firearm do you carry normally, That's on the voter registration. You have to fill it out. And if you leave that section blank, they ship you to Mexico.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you say, wait, you can't deport me. I'm not from there. And, the guy looks at you and he says, kind of gun you got? I say, but I don't have one. He says, you're from Mexico. And then they ship you there. That's one of our favorite jokes is getting deported to a country you're not from.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I've got friends of, a friend of mine up here in Connecticut, a really good friend of hers lives on the border in Texas and Mexico there. They're close too. And she won't even put her kids out in the yard.
Wait, no, on the border there, all joking aside, on the border of Texas and Mexico, my wife's an aerospace auditor, and she has audits in El Paso and other border cities along the way. And she says, man, I just don't go out. I just go get in the car, go straight to the client, get in the car, go straight back, and I order Jimmy John's, which is sub sandwiches for if you don't have Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Yep.
They send them up to the room. She says, I just don't go outside because it's just terrifying out there.
Yeah.
Yep. It's sad. But yet our borders are secure.
Well, you know what gets me, though, is they want to keep all the Mexicans out of Texas. Or they do something foolish and send them to, like, Massachusetts or something. And it's like, guys, we took Texas away from them.
Yeah.
You know, technically, this was part of Mexico once upon a time. I think they
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the people that are coming over, I can get that, but some of the people are really good.
Day laborers that come
Yeah,
over
well-
and they work for cash, and they'll make $30 or $40 a day, which
I'd
is not
brush
even
his shop.
survival money.
When I lived in Florida, I used to own a landscaping company. I was a partner, and I had Mexicans that worked for me for $4 an hour, and all the
Yeah.
white guys would be like $8.50 an hour.
Yeah,
And the Mexicans did twice the job.
Yeah.
For half the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
and they make fun of them saying they're lazy when they're just not.
No, not at all.
Right.
Now I can say that you could hide money from them underneath the soap bar, but that's about it.
That's not
No.
nice. Yeah.
But everybody has to remember the entire North American continent was based on immigrants.
Yes.
We are all
Every one of us
immigrants.
is an immigrant.
Yep.
Yeah. If
Amen
you
to
chase
that.
me back, I'm German.
Yeah, chase me back. I'm Ukrainian and Serbian.
Oh.
And I'm wow, can't even remember.
Now you see, Tim and Adam might be able to say, "Oh no, my family's been here for 1,000 years," because it could have. You know.
Well, my eldest brother, he was doing our family tree, and he got back to as far as the 1700s.
And it's still in the UK.
Yeah.
So you guys don't get out much. That's the problem.
No.
No.
don't get-
The truth of it is the people in the UK get out a whole lot, and that's why Hong Kong was part of the UK, and I
Yeah.
believe Australia was part of the UK. Australia
Yeah.
was the UK's prison system.
Yeah.
They do get out, and
Yeah.
that's why my buddy Tom. Sorry, I was looking at you, Tim, and said Tim.
It's all right.
But Tom over at Vintage Engine Repairs. He's the only guy that I'd love to have on the panel, but I
Yeah.
can't come up with a time that works for everybody
No,
and him
yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
yeah.
14 hours ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just put out a video. It's pretty good, actually. Yeah. See, my thing just jumped, and it'll let me do that, but it's not staying updated.
Oh, there's Bruce. Bruce is on commenting. Bruce in
So I
Mexico.
have to
Yeah.
ask, 1700s, was any Jensens in that?
No, don't think so.
It's just my family heritage, which goes back thousands and thousands of years. My last name is not Jensen, but originally there was only 1/3 of the world with Jensen,
Right.
Really?
apparently.
Well, apparently 1 in 10 men is related to Genghis Khan.
I'm not particularly tough, so I don't think I'm one of those.
No.
Hey, Bruce, since you're here, remember what I told you I was going to do?
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Oh, did you say you'll be back?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
I told Bruce. I sent him a message saying I was gonna do it. I was gonna turn it red.
Does she actually know, Bill?
Sorry.
Does your wife know you've done it yet?
I told her I was going to, and she says, "Yeah, right. You won't do it."
Okay,
Well, yeah.
Paulie, see Bruce's comment? He says Jensen with an E is Danish and Jensen with an O is
it's
Swedish.
Yeah. So you guys will see me next Sunday, and I guarantee I'll have a haircut. I'll have at least this much of it cut off. Oh, there's Bruce. Hey, Bruce, you having
Hey,
fun?
Bruce.
Oh, just a sec. Yeah, we went to a butterfly museum today.
Really?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
With
Right at the
live
end of it.
butterflies?
Right at the end of a dirt road.
No, that's half the
Yeah.
things in Mexico. It's like Texas. Everything's at the end of a dirt road.
Right. It was very
Once you
interesting.
get out of the city.
Niagara Falls, that's 20 miles from us, has a butterfly conservatory too, with live butterflies.
You know, the monarch butterfly migrates to Mexico and back.
Yeah.
But it takes 3 to 5 generations for them to get back to the same place their grandfather left. How do they do that?
Really?
Think of the
Yeah.
struggle they have. They don't weigh very much, and they're fighting wind all the way.
Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. My kids were trying to explain to me that they make it there and back in one lifetime, and I'm like, that's impossible.
No.
Yeah, they're not very fast.
And some of the generations are 3 weeks, and some of them are 6 months, depending on the humidity and where they are and what they're doing. And yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of trees completely covered with monarch butterflies over there in Mexico, in the special places that they go to.
I'm having a hard time getting my comments, but I won't worry about that.
Yeah, so am I. I actually switched over to, I brought myself up on another page off to the right, just so I could put the link out. You know.
So
I'm on a
Yeah,
phone,
we-
so I
we-
can't even see comments.
we missed you, Bill, yesterday.
I did my best. I just blipped out.
Driving down the road with a cell phone and crummy cell service, kind of hard to do.
Yeah, and I was in a god awful part of nowhere, Texas, too.
Oh, we do that too. I live in a
yeah.
god awful part of Alberta.
And I think I messaged you. It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that city's wireless, you know, for the cell phones, all runs off of one guy's home wireless system. You know.
Yeah, what do they call those when you make a hotspot off your phone and then run 6 computers off it?
Yeah. Yeah, you got your own little wireless running off your phone. Of course, with what little bit, even at 5G, what little bandwidth the phone's got, you're not going to get much with 6 computers. But yeah,
you might be able to run
driving down the
Gmail.
street, down the street on the highway, I was doing fine. I pulled into a Taco Casa, and yeah, we're in Texas. That's what you're going to eat.
I know you don't drink, Bill. We just bought some. We refreshed the supply after the butterfly trip. Because you're taking cabs, it's expensive, so you might as well stop, get it, and get home.
Yeah, for me, red
Yeah.
Kool-Aid.
Well, hey, that's
I just spilled some on my hair.
Red Kool-Aid is probably a vice, just like all the other vices.
Well, this is sugar-free, so it's pretty much red water. But I like it because I freeze them in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and then when they start freezing, and they get a little ice in them, then they'll last all day and stay nice and cool.
Yeah.
So what's that you were drinking there, Bruce?
Just a Pacifico
Yeah, I was trying to read it and couldn't read it.
A
beer. Yeah.
So you're
Pacifico
coming
beer.
back to Canada 20, 30 over what you left?
Yeah. What is that joke? Sorry, what's that joke?
Pacifico Clear.
20 or 30 pounds more than when you left
Like-
Canada? You're coming back?
When COVID started, I wanted to lose 20 pounds, and I'm only got 30 pounds more to go.
Yeah, right. Well, Bruce, 24 to go.
Yeah,
I'm getting close.
good. 24 what? Pounds?
Subs.
24 humans. 24
Oh,
subs.
yes. You know, you were
24
just
subs.
at 9. Weren't you just at 900 here a week ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
It's scooting along. And that's what I was
Yeah, it
saying
is.
earlier. I said, yeah, I'm looking for all the subs I
Yeah,
can get
right.
just to get that first $1. But
Only
Bruce
I
went
only
out
get-
there and got that guy that was cutting the grass to subscribe to your channel.
yeah,
I only get 5 a day.
but I get probably somewhere between 3 and 8 a day.
Your channel's going to do well.
Well, it might. Who knows? You know.
What really kills you is when you got an eye on your subs and you hit, like, say Bill hits 975, then he looks 2 hours later, 973.
960.
978.
Yeah.
975. And you're going, what the heck's going on?
Yeah, I'll see it. It's like I sort of laugh because every time I put out a video, it goes down 1 and then up 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But it always goes down 1 first, and it's like if somebody's unsubscribing when they watch the video, and then realizing they unsubscribed and then resubscribing before they're done. But
You
since
know-
I'm watching it too close, I see it happen.
Well, once
Yeah.
in a while, I go through my channel and I'm still subscribed to guys that don't exist. So, because I've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm subscribed to people that I've gone back and looked at their channel and they haven't posted a video in 4 years. And I'm going, geez, I
Me too.
wonder if I should unsubscribe.
Yeah, but
Do you
they
know
might,
how old?
you know,
Do you know how
they
old
could be
this
dead.
channel,
They could,
my
they
channel
could be
actually
sick,
is?
Yeah.
How old?
This channel was started. Ready for this? In 2010.
Genius.
Wow.
Wait. And I put one video on it, and it was an instructional video that somebody in Indiana asked me to send them for how to do a full loop in roller skates, how to jump in the
Oh.
air and spin around. Because I was like a hardcore roller skater when I was a kid, and I've still got like all sorts of skates and everything. And I said, okay, sure. And I sent it to him. And he says, okay, send me another one. So I had 2 videos of that for 11 years. That's
I
all
should
that
look
was.
at that.
That's all that was on the channel. And I looked one day and thought, I need to start doing that again. And I looked and I said, it's been sitting there 11 years and it's got 4 subscribers.
but it's not. That's not guys playing with tools, is it? Or is it the other one?
It is. I renamed it.
Let me go have a
Well,
look.
look at Don,
I'm gonna have a laugh.
look at Donny Boy 73.
Well, I took the old
Eric.
videos off before I renamed it.
Oh, okay, Bill.
Donny
Thank.
Boy 73's first
Yeah.
video was on an albino moose.
Yeah.
That was his very first video, and I remember watching it. His very first video. I remember that was the first albino moose I ever saw.
Well,
Now,
you know,
Bruce, remember that video of me doing that roller skating trick? When I shot it, I used my phone. First thing I did was I opened it up and then held it
Oh, yeah.
sideways and then pressed the 3 buttons it takes to get the camera to come on. And so, of course, the first 10 seconds is down on my feet, because I was looking at it and saying, okay, did I push the right button? Oh, yeah, that's my feet. Okay, hold it up. Here, hold this. There wasn't exactly skill involved.
So I'm gonna do a video. I've only got 2 more crummy videos to do. I don't get any views when I'm down here, like 600 per video. And then I'm switching back to home on pre-made videos from last November.
Oh, you got some saved up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I've always got 2 in the box.
I
Yeah.
like that last one you did with all the view, with the ocean and the water. That was excellent. That was a nice video, and that swirling whatever it was. What was that? A hot tub or something?
It's a hot tub, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
swirling down the drain,
wonderful. I
yeah.
could have watched that all day. That's a good one to put in your bedroom on the TV and just have it running and watch it, and you could fall asleep to it.
I
You know
was,
what my son says?
I was
that he
looking
wants
for a
to
little
see?
action figure to put in the water to see if he'd actually go
A G.I. Joe, yeah. My son says he says now he's 23 years old, right? So he's quote unquote got the pulse of society. He says make pressure cleaning videos. He says they're mindless and people will watch them and they'll watch them for an hour.
Yes, they will.
Have you seen
And-
the views they
and-
get on lawn cutting ones? Like Big Son's, for example, he's a lawn care guy. He's cutting grass, but I don't know so much about his channel, but I like Phil's Lawn Care. He
Now, Tim-
started out with small engine, and then he went to just lawn cutting. He'll get he'll put a video up of him cutting grass and trimming shrubs. He'll have 115,000 views in like half a day.
There's
Yeah,
another guy. There's another guy
Ronaldo
who
doesn't
cuts,
show
who cuts.
lawn cutting videos.
There's another guy who does unkept lawns, and the grass
Yeah.
is 4 feet tall, and he
Yeah.
goes in there with a anything that's got a side shooter because you could never mulch it, and he goes
Yeah.
in there and just hacks up this yard for a lady that maybe is going to get ticketed by the city or something. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like those.
And I went and I did a bunch of comments just to find out why people watched those videos, and I'm going to tell you the answer. You know what it is?
What?
They like to watch those videos because they could sit back in a chair and watch grass getting cut. They don't have to do it themselves.
Well, I should
Yeah, you
do my
see-
own. I should do
I
my
do a
own.
rider.
Well, Trudy does the front, which is only 35 feet across. It's a pie-shaped lot. And then I do the back with my little John Deere 178. But I should actually just take a video and maybe do a mount on the handlebar and do the video, right?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I've got one coming up this week of me working on the 2 motors that are going on the go-kart. and I'll do I'll at the end of that one, I'll do a clip of me running in the go-kart with the governor off. Oh my God, I'll tell you, you'll pee your pants on that one. It's like, ew. And I said, okay, and it still spins the tires, so I still got more. I could take more gear out of it.
That's really dangerous, Bill.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Remember, this is a Manco go-kart that was designed
Right.
for little kids. That was intended to go 11 miles an hour with
Yeah.
a 4-horse Subaru Robin engine. You know,
Yeah.
that big ass Predator motor is way too much motor for that go-kart.
Have you seen Project Farm's comparison between the Honda, a clone Honda, and the Predator?
I
All the
haven't.
same size,
I
and
haven't seen that one.
he really beats them up, eh? And the Predator and the Honda are really, really close.
Yeah.
And then the Honda clone is just a piece of crap.
Really?
Well, the Predator really is a Honda clone.
You know what? I did see
It really
that.
is.
That's
It's
what I
got a
was
Hemi. It's got a hemispherical head and everything on it,
Yeah.
eh?
I think
Well, the racers like it because it's $169 for a brand new motor.
Yeah.
But before the discount, you're always going to get when you buy it. You're always
Right.
going to get a
Well,
discount.
we
on
don't
Harbor
have
Freight.
Harbor Freight up here, eh?
No.
You got a Princess Auto,
We have Princess Auto, yeah.
so you should be able to get a Predator at Princess Auto.
Yes, but you don't get the discount like these guys. These
Oh,
guys
no.
get.
No. The trick to getting the discount is if you know where you can buy them. You get the motor, you get all the information you need. It's like when I went and bought mine, I got $30 off because it was, I think, $169 for, was the regular price. And so I typed in Predator 212 on sale. The same exact
Oh.
web page came up, and it was but there was a little yellow thing in the corner that said $30 off.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, type all the information you can, but then put on sale
Doing
at the
it
end of
now.
it. And you'll find if you search, if you spend enough time looking, I never spend more than 5 minutes. When I buy carburetors and stuff on Amazon, I'll find the carburetor, I'll find
It's like
the
the
exact
Funko.
one I want, and then I'll cut and paste the description, and then I'll paste it into Google and say on sale, and that same one will come up on Amazon, and it'll say $3 off today only. And it's the same one, but with a discount sticker on it.
So I was at Harbor Freight one day, and I was looking for a replacement snowblower engine, and they had one in there, a Briggs Snow Series. They're kind of like the old Snow Kings, but it's a Briggs series.
Yeah.
And it had a broken, they had a tube, the tube that lets the oil out. It's an aluminum POS little, that was broken. And so they gave it to me for $40. And I took it home, and I used an extractor. That it wasn't in there hard, and I got the rest of the bolt drain out, and just put a regular 3/8 whatever thread in there, and or fine thread, and I got a snowblower engine for $40, brand new.
I was in Northern Tool, which is kind of like a Harbor Freight here. I don't know if you've got them. They had a pallet with things they were
Yeah, we have
returning.
Northern Tool. We have Northern Tool. I used them at work.
They had a pallet of things they were returning, all brand new equipment. And I went in and I said, give you $200 for the pallet. And I had like 5 weed eaters on it and a lawnmower on it. And the guy says, I don't understand. And, of course, my wife's going. And I said, that works occasionally, and it only has to work
Yeah.
occasionally.
It's like a
Yeah, sometimes it works. Sometimes they'll give it to you, and then you just steal the equipment.
right. I was approached by Home Depot to do their rental repairs because a buddy of mine
Really?
worked at home. A guy I retired with worked at Home Depot in the rental section, and he said, "We need somebody to fix because everybody just beats the shit out of those rentals, eh?"
Yeah.
And I this was right after I'd retired. And I just started my little channel, and it's like, I don't need that kind of stress. It's like going back. It was like going back to work.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like, did you get that? I don't know. What are the big ones that they break? The concrete cutters and stuff like that. Did you get it fixed?
Yeah.
You get it fixed. You get it fixed. You get it fixed. You get it fixed.
Concrete saw. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just said no. Like, I've turned down so many good things in my life. But come on,
Well,
here's
my wife
been a good
always
thing.
says, if I started doing this to make money, she says, if you started doing it to make money, you'd fail immediately because you would hate it. I said,
Right.
that's true. And I
You know,
said,
this-
and I've got no short-term memory, so I'd lose track of things. I'd lose people's equipment. I would be miserable at it.
When I started my YouTube channel, I said to Trudy, I'm going to buy you a cheeseburger with the first money I make on YouTube. And this is 10 years ago, right? She says, you're not going to make. And here I am in Mexico, right?
There you go.
So I have never bought her a cheeseburger with the money that I've made on YouTube. I bought her,
Wait.
you know.
Well, you said that's sort of your stash money, right?
It is. Yeah.
That's a smart
then-
way to go.
I had not spent a dime of the YouTube money, but I take money from other accounts, from other accounts. So it's really the money, as you would know, Wayne,
Yeah.
when you're retired, the money is here and you've got some in this silo, some in this silo, and some in this silo.
Yes.
It doesn't matter because, if you drain it, it goes down. If you put it in, it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the silos are still your silos, and you're still taking
Yeah.
it from someplace.
Right. And we've been together 37 years, as you guys might have seen my anniversary shot. And we still have, Trudy has her money and I have my money. And then we have a joint account for the home.
Yeah,
You know-
same thing here. My wife Lori, she has her money and she has my money. She's and because she worked in the banking industry, she's in charge of all the money, and she's the CFO of Jake's business, small engine repair
Good.
business.
Right.
So she
See, now
takes
I
care
lose
all
track
the
of
money.
money.
We don't even see the money. We just
Oh.
go and spend it. She says, "You guys are buying too many tools."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, we have our own money, and then YouTube. It really does pay for this, but we don't take it out of the YouTube account. I've never spent a dime out of that YouTube account. But you guys can do the math, 0.6 cents a view times whatever million views, right? And it
Yeah.
adds up.
Oh yeah,
Minus the taxes, of course.
yeah.
So it's 0.3.
I'm not allowed to say any more about how much I make on YouTube because YouTube
No.
told me not to say anything. So
Jake goes right into the business.
yeah, right.
I'm just looking forward to
it
adopting.
circulates back in.
Yeah,
Well, that's
and
what
then
it should. But
and
his
then
is a
he pays the business tax, which is less than if he would be doing it personally and putting it into his personal account.
and I'm just paying tax as a personal guy.
Yeah.
But I know it's not going to go forever,
Yeah.
and I don't want to be looking over my shoulder when I'm 84 years old, because I didn't do it. So
No, it
Paying
does go.
taxes. Yeah.
Bruce, it will go forever. Your videos will be on there for
yeah.
eternity.
Okay, but if I'm down here and now I'm down to one video a week instead of two, it's down 60%. Although the content
But
is not as popular.
People are still going to watch the old ones.
They will.
Like Jake did that. I think it was checking the ignition coil. That's his first video that hit 1 million views.
Right.
And that's
I've got,
about, I forget how many years ago he did that video. I think it's 4 or 5.
I've got one just like it. It's the Briggs & Stratton Quantum. It's the bolt that holds the bowl on, but it's actually a jet, and you just take that bolt out and go, pew, pew. And you don't even have to take the bowl off, but you should. And you can
Yeah.
put that bolt back in there. But a guy at home, all he needs is a 1/2 inch wrench and a pipe cleaner or a wire, and he can get his quantum running
go.
again, right? And that video I've had 7 million views on that video.
You know, it not in numbers, but my favorite video I ever did was one about a blown up engine. Of course, an engine that a two-stroke that had been torn up by gas. The only reason I consider it my best video is it only had 1,600 views, but it had them all in 2 days,
Ah,
Yes.
and I got 21 subscribers out of that.
right.
Well, now think about it, the math of getting 21 subscribers and 1,600 views.
That's and that's feeding the beast.
Yeah, now I've got lots of videos that have got, I've only got 900 subscribers or almost
Build your-
1,000.
So when are you going to hit 1,000? I'll follow it.
I've got it down as
Yes,
March 1.
yes. March 1.
Yeah, likely.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
I'm going to guess this week sometime.
No, I think March 1.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Now,
Yeah, I
Bill,
wish.
there's a video that went viral on YouTube that I watched. Some guy had a racing go-kart. I mean, this guy was dressed up in the racing gear with the helmet and everything. And he went out on these side streets, but they were like in the States, like throughways. I think this guy had that thing going like 120 miles an hour or something, and he blew by a cop, a state trooper, eh? And the trooper didn't even. I don't even think this guy figured like. I don't think I'm going to go after this guy because just let him go. And this
Way
guy
too-
was
yeah.
just booting it.
Way too much paperwork.
Yeah, there's way too many explanations. I pulled over a go-kart, and even worse, the possibility that I chased a go-kart and it got away.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I chased the
In a
go-kart,
go-kart.
pulled it over, and then somebody slammed into the back of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I ran him over. Yeah.
Yeah. So John would probably have a comment on that.
I don't know if you caught it earlier, Bruce. So I mentioned that the governor came off the
Yeah.
Predator motor. It's yeah, yeah. It was like, yeah, I expected to get, okay, I'd be able to add 2 or 3 more miles an hour to it. You don't appreciate how much a little change is when you're that close to the ground,
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, my next video, probably, I've got, I think 3 of them that are just like scheduled. The ones I keep in the bank, I schedule them and then forget about them. But I make sure, I don't know when they're scheduled. One's going to come out this week. I don't know what it is. I think carburetor work or something. But I've got 2 of them I'm doing one on rebuilding the motors and another one on all the welding and hoo-ha, getting it all together. And then if
Can you
I'm
bring
lucky,
that up?
I see the butterflies.
See the
This is
butterfly,
outdoors.
but there's a go-kart track around that tree.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rough looking. It was at the end of the trail.
Like a dirt go-kart?
Yeah.
Oh, mine's got drag slicks on it, like racing
Yeah.
tires.
Right.
Well, they're not racing tires. They're the cheap version of racing tires.
No tread.
No tread.
well,
Yeah, but it's
gentlemen,
supposed to be 82 here tomorrow, so I'll have it out there playing some.
gentlemen, I got to go for supper.
See
Yeah,
you,
we've
Wayne.
been going way more than 2 hours I was planning on.
Take care,
Well,
everybody.
Well,
Be
that's a
safe.
good thing, Bill. That's a good thing.
Take
But
care.
I tell you what,
and we'll
with
see
all
you
the
in the
people-
1,000.
yeah,
We'll
all
see
the
you in
all the
1,000.
with Wayne and K Paul and Adam and Tim and you, I've been extremely lucky, as far as I'm concerned, for a stream that's just getting started to get these personalities.
Right. Yeah.
I managed to
allow
punch it.
people.
Huh?
It's cool.
I'm just happy you even allow people to come on. I mean, I know I'm kind of in and out, but I'm listening in the ear, and
And Tim is everywhere.
And Tim is everywhere, but we love Tim being everywhere.
Yeah. He just talks so much, eh?
Well, now he'll talk occasionally.
We love
It's
you,
like
Tim.
Adam didn't have much to say today, but when we did Wednesday, he had a whole lot to say then.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Well, you know what? My whole I'm not quite a successful channel like some of the other people that are like 300,000, but I'm a successful channel. But I really, really don't think that. I feel like I'm back down at 2,000.
Yeah.
That's my brain. That's my brain, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys. I'm
Well,
gonna
I
head
don't know
out
if you
too.
remember when I first came along with the bunch, I'd always joke around that, my whole goal was to make it up to the point of being a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And I was the tiniest fish in a tiny pond then.
Yeah.
And I still think I'm the tiniest fish in the pond. And that's
Nope.
okay. I learned
know-
to like it that way.
My buddy Steve OJ, he's right with you. He's just behind you. He's at 902 or something, right?
Yeah.
But he's not a salesman. He hasn't got that.
Yeah, I remember when I first subscribed to Steve, he was at like 690 and I was at like 400.
Yeah.
And I just sort of hopped past him.
Right, but his channel's chugging along like an old train, and it'll hit 1,000 probably this spring. And then I think, but he's, you know what? He's a bachelor that he just does projects. He doesn't have a job, so he's so busy doing house repairs, renovations, whatever, that it's really hard for him to make it in YouTube because it takes up too much of his time. So
Really?
he'll get there. He'll get there. But he wants it to be a chunk of his retirement. So I keep telling him, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. He's in his 50s.
See, now I don't intend to ever actually make any money doing this.
Right.
And
Well, that's
what
how I
little-
am, Bill. And I've never spent a dime of the YouTube money, right?
Yeah, what little money I make buying and selling the mowers, I literally turn into camera equipment and green screens and computers and the stuff I need to run the channel.
Gotcha. Well, I only make about $4 to $5 grand a year in the garage on junk, fixing junk, and then
I don't know how much I make. I don't count it.
Oh,
because-
Mrs. P is a clerical extraordinaire. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Learn the term plausible deniability.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So, but she's in charge of. Oh, she does all my sales and she does all my acquisitions, like Red Deer buy and sell and all of that. She says, "Oh, okay, I got 5 mowers. We got to get over and get them before they're gone." And that, so off we go, and that makes quite a difference for me. I don't have to do it.
Now you see, I absolutely love the chase.
I hate that.
I love the chase. I love going over, and you always pull in, and that weed eater that sells for $149 is still worth $100, even though it's beat half to death and it won't start, and it's been sitting in his garage for 2 years. And I explained to them that, it's worth $100 to him, but we're almost $100 apart on what I'm willing to pay for it and what he wants for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I say, so I'll tell you what, if I look inside it, I get the camera inside it, and I see that it's savable, it's got a good piston in it.
Yeah.
Then I tell them, it's like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to sell it for $50. I'm going to spend $20 on it. I spent $5 getting here. I'm going to spend money on the other end of it too, and fuel and whatnot. So you're at about $12 now for me to break even. So how much do you really want for it? And he'll say $100. And it's like, well, and I tell him, it's like, more fish in the sea. And he says, okay, well, will you give me $5 for it? It's like,
yeah.
It's like, couldn't we have avoided this whole thing and just done that in the first place?
Yeah. And the coil's worth $75.
Well, not if you got like a little Ryobi or something. They're great little homeowner weed eaters, but the parts are cheap.
I quit working on those, Bill. I
love them.
I just hate them. When they start acting up, new carb seals, it doesn't seem anything works on them for me.
Well, I'm a 2-stroke fanatic, so it's like
I know you are.
Smell it.
And there are people that are really good on them.
I've got 2 for my go-kart motors. I chose Troy-Bilts, and it's the same motor as the rest of them, but I just happen to have 2 matching motors, and they're both TB35 ECs, and it's one of the better motors for a weed eater.
Okay.
But it's not great. Like the Ryobis are better motors.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know.
Well, they're better motors. They got a better crankshaft in them.
Okay. And for me, people will say, well, a power mower lawn mower has got this and it's got that and it's got this, and I just fix it.
Yeah. Well, it's the only reason I discovered is one time I had to take I've taken, of course, my share of weed eaters apart to put seals and whatnot in them.
Mm-hmm.
Or in some cases, you have to take it like entirely apart just to get the rewind off of it with the rear pull.
Don't you hate that?
Oh my God, yes. But
you gotta have a nice drill with a reverse in it with a T25 or a T27.
And I tell people that the front recoil is just as easy as the back recoil, to replace the recoil on it. And they're saying, yeah, but the back, you just take the back off. And it's like, dude, no, you're like familiar with what he had for breakfast. The guy who built it had for breakfast, but by the time you get the back off of that weed eater, the front, you just 4 screws and it falls off,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I've got 2 Troy-Bilt 35 EC motors that are identical. One of them beat to death. I took the shaft off and threw it away because the shaft was bent. And I said, okay, this is my first motor. And then I waited until I had one that matched it and said, this is the second motor. So one of them I'm going to put back together as a weed eater when I'm done.
Yeah. Good for you. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
The other one's just a throwaway motor that I'm going to blow up.
You know what? Sometimes they're a lot harder to blow up than you'd think.
Well, no, I'm planning on running these things up to 11,000 RPM if I have to blow them up.
Right on.
I want to, it's sort of like a flash bulb. Flash bulbs are very bright, but only for a second.
Right.
I want to see how much top end I can get out of this go-kart, even if I blow the motors up.
So my March videos, after I've done my birthday party for my antique truck, are going to be that 100cc home light chainsaw. Think about that. 100
That would
cc
be
home light
a
chainsaw
chainsaw.
with no. Think about that. 100 cc chainsaw with no compression release. It's like starting a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to ask if I had a Kickstarter.
No, no.
Yeah, right.
That thing is like it's a kung fu move to get it started.
Just day before yesterday, I sold a 4-horse, 2-stroke backpack blower.
Ooh.
The Steel 430. It's like 3.95 horse.
Well, that would have to be like an 80 cc.
I think it's actually more than that. I think it's 80 and change.
Mm-hmm.
This thing, but I thought, I could take that motor out and put it on the go-kart at least temporarily, and then I would have 4 horsepower. I wouldn't have a ton of torque still, because it doesn't have a ton of torque. It's only got like
RPM.
5 pounds of torque.
Yeah, well, you could. But you're gonna go.
Yeah,
But
your
yeah,
top end's gonna be.
Yeah, if I left that and didn't gear it down, you figure at 2,800 RPM, I went 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, I remember that.
At 8,000 RPM, just do the math. I would go very, very, very fast.
No, it's not going to double
If you could
because you're
get
going to be. It's not going to double because you're loading it, but it's going to be.
True.
It's going to be
I think it would
one,
double.
1 point. It's going to be 1.75 anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
I think because I didn't run out of power in the motor, I ran out of RPM.
Right on the Predator.
It
On the
hit
Predator.
the governor, and that was it. Yeah.
On the Predator, yeah.
As I say, when I do the rebuild of the 2 motors, which will be tomorrow or the next day, it'll come out. I'll do a quick clip, and I'll mount the GoPro to the front of the go-kart because it's just more fun to see it that way. And then I'll use my cell phone. Oh no, I can't. I'll take screenshots of my cell phone.
Yeah.
So you can see the speed that I'm going.
Perfect.
And I'll
like
do a
that.
screen
That's
record
nice,
on the cell phone.
That's a nice feature.
But yeah, because
Okay.
the GoPro's got a mount, and I've still got, because I just moved the front bumper out. Yeah, so I still got that little curve in the front, so I can mount the GoPro right. Maybe I'll mount it upside down, and put it like that close to the ground. That would be really cool to watch. That'd be cool to see. Yeet.
Anyway, I got some editing to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
See you
yep,
guys.
we're gonna call it a day.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. I have I met you down there, K. Paul? Have I met you before?
I don't know. Bruce, were you in the New Year's thing?
Yep. No, I was in Mixed Christmas.
Was that what it? That wherever I subscribed to
Okay.
this channel and Ken
Okay.
and somebody else's.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyway, if I haven't met you
hello.
before, nice meeting you.
Same here.
And we'll see you, Tim, as always.
See you later,
See-
Bruce.
I gotta go, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll see you.
I'm going as well. See you
I hate
later,
to
Bill.
break hate to break up a party.
Yeah.
Okay, we're shutting it down for today, and we'll see everybody next Sunday at 2.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not.
I don't know.